Live. There it is. There's a delay.
Wow, that actually worked pretty good though, didn't it? So we are live on and I will have to say that's the first time I ever played. See, Terry's teaching me all kinds of cool stuff. And we're gonna actually hang out a little bit tonight, and it is Sunday, the 27th of November. And I don't really know what we got in store, but we're gonna hang out with some friends and we're gonna have some fun. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna brag on Sovereign's new toys over there. First of all,
Yes,
let me click on you, Sovereign. I'm gonna bring you up here and see if we can actually get you up to the so we can bring you up. I don't know how I'm able to do that.
I saw the picture of his
there it is.
new kit there.
Wow.
What I not?
Oh,
my headphones. no biggie. So I'm here with my friend Anthony.
Hey, Anthony, how are you? Anthony's trying to literally he's bouncing back and forth to try to get in the frame there.
I know, and I have to get used to the mirrored image, and it's like,
man, the camera's awesome. The camera's very high def compared to what you had before.
It was the same camera.
Really?
On the other, and this
maybe some lighting or something.
And also, yeah, I got a ring light. But I've got the NVIDIA GeForce, some bunch of numbers or whatever video card in this thing. It's amazing. I hit a video on YouTube and it's like, it just starts playing immediately. Like when you flip a channel on the TV, it's like none of that little wheel of despair happening. I love it.
Is that all part of the stuff you had the Geek Squad come out and do that you were talking about the other day, or?
Well, it was some of their recommendations that they had. They had.
I got you.
What card did they?
I'm sorry.
What was the card they recommended?
It wasn't a card because the standalone I was using wasn't upgradable.
Oh, okay.
So I just went ahead and got a whole new standalone system. It's actually built for gaming.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's got the power that I need to run the video and do all that shit, And
guys, we have another panelist. We have Blue Bear with us now. Blue Bear, how are you?
Hello, gentlemen.
Real fast, I want to go through my panel and introduce everybody, and then we'll have Terry go through the chat, and then we will get going with our stuff. At the bottom, in my bottom corner, how's that? Because I don't know what everybody's seeing, but I'm guessing. We have Derek at Bits and Pieces. Derek, how are you, sir?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Have you been haunted anymore, Derek?
No. We did get an alert. Was it last night?
Yeah, but there wasn't any movement.
There was no movement, but we got an alert from downstairs, but there was no movement. Gotcha.
And we have Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind with us. Sovereign, how are you, sir?
Just finer and frog here, enjoying this new thing, man. It's I haven't had to cuss at it, not once.
Sovereign is playing with his new toys, and it's not even Christmas. It's not even Christmas. As Sovereign's playing with his toys, so he's like Ralphie with his BB gun. Don't shoot your eye out.
Yeah, my eye out more.
Then we have Blue Bear with us. Blue Bear, how are you, sir?
I am tired, brother. It's been an interesting week.
I understand.
And I've got another interesting week coming up. I'll fill you more in on the private side later.
I got you. All right. And we also have back with us again, and we're going to start making this a more regular thing. We have Tom Hall from the Hall Pass. How are you, Tom?
All right. How you guys doing tonight?
Excellent. And as always, my partner in crime, the Auditor, the Game Changer, hashtag not chilly, hashtag he really doesn't stop, hashtag making real differences. Oh, wait a minute. Should I stop right there somewhere? Because I could just keep going. I have Terry with Iron Auditor. Terry, how are you, buddy?
Buddy, I'm good. Absolutely great. It's been a wonderful Sunday. Happy Sunday to everybody out there. If yours isn't happy, I hope that it gets happier soon.
Awesome. So,
and Captain, I want to draw your attention real quick. Baby Doll Ironton has become a new member of your channel.
Awesome, baby doll Ironton. Welcome and thank you very much. I'm gonna
Chad,
be. Let
Brandon's backstage too.
me see if I can scroll. I don't know why I can't see that. I don't understand that. Why it doesn't do that?
I get it. I got him. There he is.
Oh, shoot! I think we both clicked at the same time. There it is.
Hi,
There
y'all.
he is. Poof and poof.
What's going on, Brandon?
How's it going, Captain Chad? How y'all doing tonight?
Excellent. We're just going to hang out a little bit and talk about a lot of stupid stuff and probably be questioned if we are really adults or not by the end of the night. Is that a good plan?
When Blue Bear invited me over, he promised that you were going to, at least once, that you were going to model torture cuffs for us. And there was also something about some diamond-studded sunglasses that you had.
Oh, I'm sure I got some. I'm sure I've got some diamond-studded sunglasses. If not, Tater's got some glasses.
And it may be just a vicious, salacious rumor, but I also heard that you had managed to track down the same set of Kfar short shorts that he wears, and that you were going to show us as proof of possession.
Are you referring to like a Lieutenant Dangle type shorts?
I don't answer questions.
What's the third amendment, Brandon?
It's
I
the
think we
amendment
need to
that
call them Captain Dangle shorts now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Third Amendment, I think I can safely say without fear of contradiction, the Third Amendment is the one that comes after the second, but before the fourth.
It's right in between them.
Right on, bro.
That's all you need to know.
See, you know what? And we thought
All
Chili
right,
was the only constitutional expert.
You may get a job as a constitutional expert on a TV channel with that.
Sovereign Soul, how you doing?
Just doing great, man. How are you?
Another day in paradise.
That's it.
Brandon, I think he's catching you in tech, man. I think you and Sovereign are going to be the tech guys that take over everything the way it looks, man. Sovereign's got all his new toys in there this week, and he's anxiously playing with them, and it looks good and it sounds good. So
No,
Now I've just got to catch up to Sovereign Soul's better background. His background is a lot better looking than this mess.
It's a lot of work got to be done still in here, man. I've got boxes back here that I can't get rid of till Wednesday. Thursday's my trash day, so I don't know what to do with them, and it's been raining. So, but I still got some stuff, and I found a big piece of green cloth that's the right color of green, and I want to play around with that and see if I maybe make a frame for it or something and just pop it up behind me. Then I can have my really cool backgrounds. I like those.
Oh, be careful. Once you get started with the green screen, you never go back.
see, I'll tell you what, I actually have one, and I can never get it tuned in right. It will not pick it up right. Like for whatever reason through StreamYard. I don't know if it just don't like the shade that I have, or maybe my lighting's wrong or something. But you know how you can actually fade it in and out. It will not get me. It doesn't. It never gets me tuned in right. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Hey, unclean hands.
Sovereign, I've got a question. What computer system did you get?
Oh, me? It's an Asus. Geez, I forget what the heck the model number of it was. Let me see. It's a CF39 series is what this one was, and it's got a every language in the world.
What graphics card does it have in it?
What?
Graphics card.
On NVIDIA GeForce.
What model number?
Geez, I don't know right offhand. Let me see if I can find out.
He didn't know he was going to have all this info.
Somebody needs to start speaking English, please. I have no clue what the hell you are talking about.
I'm going to guess a
I'm not exactly
1650.
sure what the model is. It's what I let the geek squad. I said, go in there and find me what I need.
Well, if you've got an Asus, I'd be willing to bet it's probably at least a mid to high grade GPU, because Asus makes gaming hardware.
Yeah, that's what this is, a gaming system. So
there you go.
And we got to early Best Buy because my wife's a club member at Best Buy or something. And so we got a pretty good price on it. It was under just barely $700. Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
Good steal. Then I had to buy another monitor, though. Nothing came with it except the keyboard and mouse. But I already had one monitor, but I needed two monitors. And then I've got the old set up right here for right now.
Also, I just want to give a quick disclaimer. It's the first time I've had Brandon on my panel, but Brandon is known for He literally eats a lot of nuts all night long in the past that I've been on the channel with him. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, but we tend to always go back to that. And Brandon's always got his mouth on nuts. I don't know what that's all about, but that's what he does. I don't know.
I do. They're not just nuts, Captain Chad. Got to be specific. Salty nuts.
Salty nuts.
Got to be
Okay.
specific.
Okay. And there are times we actually.
It's hard to keep salt off of them. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. You should have been on my stream earlier. Blue Bear was there, providing no adult supervision as usual, so he can tell you we were in rare form tonight.
Yeah, the jokes before the stream were rather funny.
So what you're saying, it was basically the exact same as it always is when we get together. It's basically a bunch of grown men that don't know they're grown men and they keep acting like children.
Pretty much.
Okay.
I think that's what a grown man is.
Right. It's just a great big kid.
Well, you know what they say, Chad. The only difference between men and boys is the price of their toys.
Well, that is no kidding. That is so true. It's scary. I don't know if it's. I can't say that because I as I've gotten older in life, it feels like I've kind of went backwards a little bit, and I'm not going to spend so much money. I get a little bit more greedy. But I could say 100% that in my youth, when I thought I was young and single and had money and stuff, I didn't care what it was, I'd buy it. And now I'm like,
Chad, teach me fiscal responsibility. I paid $47 for 3 slices of pizza and a tiramisu and a 20-ounce Pepsi today. It's that 20-ounce Pepsi that got me. I tell you what.
I've got to ask that you elaborate.
There's a New York pizzeria near where I live, and that's their name, literally New York Pizzeria. And my boss recommended them, so I went to go check them out. And you know how they say never go to Best Buy when you're bored? Never go to a pizzeria when you're hungry.
That's an old saying too when it goes to grocery shopping. Isn't that the old saying that says you don't ever want to go to the grocery store when you're actually hungry because you spend a fortune and you come back with a bunch of crap that's only good for the moment?
Yep. Well, and it doesn't help that their slices of pizza are like this wide.
Mm-hmm.
So, and their pizzas are like 5 feet across.
Well, and I'll tell you something else too. I don't. Go ahead, Tom.
It wasn't the pizza that was New York style. It was the price of the 20-ounce cola.
You got it. You got it.
Well, it's a lot like it's a lot like going to a Major League Baseball game or like an NFL game or something. You get in there and it's like, oh man, this is awesome. And then you'd be like, you know what? It's good and warm. If you're going to a ball game in the summer, the Reds or something for me, obviously.
Excuse me for a second. My throat is dry, so I need to deep throat a beverage real quick. Pardon me.
Hey guys, everybody on this panel needs to take a look at that. Look at that comment there, because that's for every one of you up here.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you very much. That's awesome.
I noticed down there you weren't using your pinkies when you took drink.
Uh-oh. Sovereign's our pinky observer.
His pinky, man.
I will.
What makes it official?
I will fix my mistake. I'm always happy to deep throat a beverage twice on camera, just for y'all.
Right when I thought everyone was into feet these days, now it's pinkies. What's going on?
Well, don't forget we were also talking about how often I swallow my salty nuts. So
Oh Jesus!
Oh, you got Chad.
Chad, you started us down that dark path back in May.
just for the record. I was taking a drink of my iced coffee right about the time, and I should have known better when Brandon has the floor to be prepared for what's coming next, because it's probably going to be something that's questionable at least.
Hey, turnabout is fair play, Captain Chad. Somebody finally got a spit take out of me the other week. So you know what?
Really?
So it happens. It happens.
Oh man, that's awesome. So oh my gosh.
Let me remind you again, folks. You said that this is the best panel on YouTube.
Yeah.
You asked for it.
Can't take it back. Too late. Okay. But Tom, but back to addressing Tom's thing. That's a C de Castro thing. When he drinks his water, he drinks it like this and like throws it up with his pinky.
Oh,
so
okay.
that kind of become a thing that everybody's going, oh my god.
Gotcha.
So that's
Tom's probably going, what the hell did you get me into?
Well, he's been thrown off. He went back to Twitter. I guess they let him
Oh,
come back and be nice if he took his other posts down. But he got kicked off of Instagram, and he put up a post.
that didn't
on
take long.
No, shit, no. And it took. I don't know. He put a post on Twitter a little while ago that said he was doing a video on Rumble at 3 p.m. California time.
I left him a little message on Rumble on that
There you
video.
Did you?
Hey guys,
Yes.
we have to give equal opportunity to the other side because Fab Daddy says we're a panel of clowns, and Uncle Artie says that this panel not only sucks without him, it blows.
Oh my God.
And how quickly he went from sucking to blowing. That's all I
Yeah.
have to say.
Well, it is Uncle Artie. I'll leave it at that. You decide.
He had already routed up, man. He was ready.
So she thanking Elon for his suspension removal as well.
He should. He absolutely should.
That's a $40 million lawsuit.
Mm. Well, just wait till I was going to say, wait till he goes to sue Elon. He's got a lot of pocketbook.
Oh,
He'll be like-
that'd be funny.
He
They're like-
already tried to. He
I
already
can
tried to take on the YouTube and their 40 million lawyers. So
Yeah,
Well, I
was like, YouTube's got an entire fucking building just for lawyers
shit.
for crying out loud, you know?
No
They've
shit.
been doing this for how many years? And then he comes along in the last couple of months and then thinks he's going to change that now because it went against how he wants it to be. So now I'm going to change that. Fuck Terry, Ohio. We're going to go do this one.
Oh, he's a game changer, bud. You know what come to my mind though was on Austin Powers when Dr. Evil was demanding his ransom, and he's looking, and I could see Chili looking at Elon, be like, "I'm going to sue you for $150 billion."
That would definitely be him, man.
That would be him, I guarantee it, without a doubt. So, Brandon and let's see, Brandon and Blue Bear. I don't know if you guys seen it, but did you guys catch Bitz's video the other day with his potentially haunted basement or studio area?
No, I have not.
I haven't either.
Well, let me just tell you that I've been freaked out by this like all week. And I've asked him right off the bat if he had any more notifications or anything, because he's got one of those, like, it's kind of like a ring doorbell. What's that called again, Bits? I don't know if you can hear me or not. He's just. Oh, I'm sorry. He's adulting. But he's got like a ring doorbell or something. I don't know what it is, but it's set up there.
Chime or something. Didn't you say chime?
Maybe it's chime. Maybe it is chime.
It's Blink.
See, we were both wrong.
Blink. That's what it was. I remember it
Yeah,
had
the porch thing is what triggered to let me know somebody was out there, and then I heard him knocking.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Let me retract my answer. Bits and pieces. If I answer that no, I missed it, you wouldn't hold that against me, would you?
No,
Sorry.
no,
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, to clarify, it's he gets the activations on movement, and it I guess his wife had sent him this video that she had been notified of or whatever, and he posted it, and it's a short actually on YouTube, I believe, but there's like movement in the room and like his chair moves and stuff. It's creepy, man. Like,
I've got an idea.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
I need you to go get some candles and a Ouija board.
No, hell no. I ain't playing with that shit. I'm out.
We're going to the basement for a game.
I thought Blue Bear was going to say that you need to get some candles and then order dinner, and we'll all sit and eat together and have a candlelit dinner. No, I take it back. That's even scarier than what he was just proposing.
That's a whole different view. Okay, so
scary.
I see.
So you're out, Chad?
Oh, hell yes. I ain't going to play with that shit.
Anthony was just telling me that he was sitting there the other day just diddling around, and all of a sudden the radio just came on and went up like all the way volume.
See what I'm saying? I'm saying?
Crazy experience. Oh my
We just
God.
watching Ghost Adventures last night. Me and the kids were.
You have to embrace the spirits.
Yeah.
I embrace my hell. I ain't going. I can embrace them by not knowing they're there. Okay. I sure as hell the damn Ouija board to tell me.
I think we just found one thing
See
that
that
Tad's
comment,
afraid
I was
of.
trying to, reach out and haunt you. Haunt you.
Terry, did you have something,
Do
buddy?
you see that comment, Captain, from Uncle Artie? He's talking to you. He said Monday he's going to get the people drunk on moonshine and let them loose on the streets while you're on patrol. He said, "Let's see you handle that, policeman."
Well, first of all, thanks.
Or
thanks
maybe it should have been more like, "Handle that, policeman." I can't do an Uncle Artie impression very well.
Well, just
Chad,
hang on because I can. I was literally trying to swallow at the same time again, and it was kind of one of those. I'm gonna send some drunk people down there to Ireton on the special from Uncle Artie's Bar and Grill. Handle that, Captain Policeman. That sounds about like him, I would say.
That was pretty damn good.
dude, that is straight on, man. That is like that is.
And by the way, just so everybody knows, Uncle Artie said that Bits and Pieces, you and Terry don't suck. You're cool. So the rest of you are screwed, but me and Bits are cool up here.
Well, I don't know. Allied Forces has a crush on Sovereign Soul. I'll take Paul Lind in the center square. That's a big time compliment right there.
That's an old reference.
This is the place formerly reserved for Alice.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Paul
All right,
was
so-
middle left, wasn't he?
Brady Bunch.
What is it? I couldn't hear you, Tom. Try again.
I think Paul Lind was middle left.
Oh gosh, I don't even remember.
Oh, I wasn't doing Hollywood Square. I was doing Brady Bunch. My bad. Okay, well.
Oh yeah, okay, that's. Oh yeah. Wow, and it's actually every time Terry actually shares the banner at the bottom, it like pops us up like it's like here's a story.
Dude, that makes Bits and Pieces, Marsha.
You want to see something fun you can do, Chad?
Sir.
You want to see everybody get dizzy? You can start switching them all around on the panel.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't
So
do that.
you
Yeah.
just click and hold them and drag them wherever you want them, and you can put them in whatever order you like.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's see, you're showing me all kinds of stuff about this, but I want to get on with this because I see that Sovereign. I'm assuming you're ready for me. Is that?
Yeah, anytime, man.
Oh, I didn't.
don't know if Terry. I don't know if Terry found any videos or anything like that, but I found a couple that were kind of interesting.
I just didn't want to pull up that you didn't intend on putting up there yet. That's why I asked.
Oh yeah,
so.
we're good.
Before we get to that, I wanted to say one thing to Ironton Auditor.
Yes, sir.
So I made a comparison on one of my streams to the infamous live stream that you had some weeks ago. I hope I wasn't speaking out of turn, but people were saying that a recent panel guest of mine was getting out of hand, and I said this isn't Wolverine transparency on Ironton Auditor stream. And they said that when I reasserted things, I was channeling you. So I chose to take that as a compliment. So just wanted to cop to infringing on your trademark.
Oh wow!
Well, I'll tell you what, my stuff is out there, and anybody that wants to use it, there it is. Use it for what you want. Make fun of me. Have a good time with it. I don't mind a bit. Take it for what it means to you. You'll see that I just speak my mind. That's pretty much it. There you go.
No, I meant that in a complimentary way, just because you did a good job kind of reasserting control that night. And I had to, so the real quick backstory is I had Afro Man Audits on my stream last week, and he was channeling Wolverine transparency and not in the fun, happy way. So
yeah, what is it? What is that?
Gotcha.
I don't understand. I mean, I don't know that Wolverine guy, but he's kind of out there a little bit, isn't he? Kind of hot headed. It appeared to be anyway that night.
He's definitely a little hot headed.
I mean,
he's a professional victim. He likes to be a victim. That's basically what I got out of him, man. I was trying to mediate. I was trying to have conversation with him, and everything that was said, he'd be offended by.
Right.
He's not a person that can be spoken with. He wants to wants to talk at you. That's basically what he wants to do, not talk to you. You see. And unless you go along with his victim status, oh, that sucks, you're totally in the right, and whoever offended you is a piece of shit, he's gonna just come at you. So I decided right there and then there, I don't have any need for that type of person around.
So, Sovereign
Well-
Soul, I'd be interested in what you think of Afroman's stream. Then he came on, and everybody knew that he was going to rage quit at some point during the night, and it happened. But it happened after we brought Kick in to do what he does, and boy, was that SmackDown epic!
I'll have to check it out. I didn't see it. I didn't catch that.
You missed a great time, I think. I'm not
Yeah,
impartial,
it's,
but I think it was a great time.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and check that out. I didn't get to see that, but yeah, look. Here's the thing: if you can come on and have a discussion about shit, that's great. As soon as you get angry, you lost.
Mhm.
As soon as you start using the ad hominem, and I don't care how innocuous it is, like, well, it's not like that, stupid. There it is, right there. You lost. Okay, lay out your point. The other person lays out their point. You can mull it over, they can mull it over, and the court of public opinion can look at both sides of the issue from an unbiased standpoint if they're wise.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Okay. I've got. I'm gonna pull up first bits unless you had something pressing because I seen you pulled a screen up. I don't know if you can even hear me again. He tends to.
Yeah, sorry. I'll still see you guys.
I'm gonna
I had to. Go ahead.
I'm gonna pull sovereign screen up first unless you have something that you want to share immediately.
Nah, I was just going to show that ghost video. Just in
Okay,
case.
Oh, show it. Go ahead and show Bits' ghost video.
All right, let's do that because that's a short one. And we'll go to that, and
Hey,
then we'll.
Tell that cat to quit emailing my dog. She's starting trouble.
Chad, while we're
I mean,
watching this, check your messages from me.
Okay.
Are you sending him sext messages again?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
Good.
Watch that chair.
Yeah, I seen it. I'm ready. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Something just changed. Like a new picture came on the wall.
Yeah, I put that picture on. Shit, was Thanksgiving, I guess. Thanksgiving Day, and for some odd reason, like I said, it catches me. It should. Whenever there's any movement, it should have filmed me, but it didn't. But it does have where I put that up, so I don't know how the chair was moving. That's the weird part.
Yeah, it's definitely an odd. I don't, which like I said, I'm not a tech guy, and I don't. I'm sure there's maybe a way to explain
What-
things. I don't know.
What length of time was that over? I mean, in real time.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe a couple hours,
Okay.
if I had to guess. I don't know if it's still stored on my Blink app or not.
By the way,
Yeah.
folks, tonight's stream is sponsored by GeForce GPUs.
And also brought to you by De Castro Feminine Wash.
Oh,
And with
my
that said,
God.
folks, hit that like button with 2 D's.
It's button. And I noticed that I put that in the banner, and Terry went and grammar checked me and fixed it to button. I was thinking, I surely hope he doesn't think I really can't spell.
So what you're saying, Captain Chad, is he gave your spelling a chilly reception?
Oh, where's your sound effects, Brandon?
We're not on my stream, so I can't do it, and I need a stream deck.
Those
No,
are
you
very,
need a Go XLR.
very handy.
I stand corrected.
Giving boomers the internet. Was
All right. So
Yeah,
let's
shit.
do this then. Let's pull up Sovereign, and we'll go ahead if you guys are ready. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but for Blue and for Brandon, just kind of bring up videos and different topics, and we just kind of break them down and review them. And sometimes we go for a little while. Sometimes we'll break them down right in the middle. Who knows? But we just kind of have fun with it. So that's kind of what Sundays is all about. So
You mean you actually use this platform to have fun and do things that are enjoyable instead of starting a bunch of drama?
Well, no, we still try to start the drama too. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're down with the drama. We like it.
Didn't you know that YouTube drama is all the rage nowadays?
Oh my
Well, Sovereign, I've been on your channel. You know I can bring the heat when I need to.
Oh yeah. Hey,
It depends.
You know what? I've made my mission to be one of my missions, Blue Bear, is that I am going to repair Nick Volt.
Really?
I'm going to repair him. I've already brought it to his attention and got him making a conscious effort to not interrupt and talk over people. And so we're going to work on that. We're going to work on that with him, and we're going to actually make it so that he can talk to everybody else like people and not like they're his students.
That's interesting.
Watch, I'll do it.
I will be interested to see how that turns out, Sovereign.
Well, Blue Bear, I have one point of clarification on what you said a minute ago. You said you're no stranger to bringing the heat. Is that why you carry that microwave around? Oh no, that's why you brown the meat. Never mind.
That's a different thing, Brandon.
That was how my stream got started. So
I'll have to tell you that joke, Chad.
Chad's thinking I don't want to hear it.
I'll be honest, I'm scared. I'm scared. So, Sovereign, do you want to set this up? Give us a little backstory on this, or we want this blind, or what do you want to do?
Well, we'll kind of go into it a little bit blind. It's some things in it come to a bit of a surprise to you through the duration of this, but they're trying to ID this guy. He's a First Amendment and Second Amendment auditor, and this is his encounter. I'm not exactly sure where it took place, but it's from a channel called CT3. It seems to have a great many of these videos on his channel. So I'll go ahead and make it big.
You know my name. What's your name?
I don't give that out. It's against my policy. It's against my policy to give out my name.
Your policy? Who do you work for?
Me?
What's up, YouTube? It's CT3 fam. Welcome back to another video. I'm CT. What's the clip we're highlighting today is from news. Make sure.
Okay, yeah, this is where it's from too.
Channel Brand Example News. Make sure you use the link in the description below for the full video. And while you're over there, show them some love, because without them,
the Brand Example News is where this
keep in
video
mind, my
came
goal
from.
is to make this an educational experience based on that like button for that reason alone. And with that done, let's get right into it.
All right, how you doing, Dave?
May I ask why you're filming?
I just feel like it.
Just feel like it?
Yes, sir. Trying to find anything interesting going on. Can I ask you the name and badge number?
Talia Mitchell 5544.
5544?
Filming the petroleum. So we got a call.
Okay.
That's why I'm out with you.
All right.
We got a
People
call.
are concerned
Good
about
for
you filming the petroleum.
Just seeing what I can find interesting to report on, you know. You never know when you're going to get that video that's going to make you a lot of money.
Report to who?
Anywhere. I might sell it to a news agency if something interesting happens. You never know. Some of the news agencies pay pretty good.
Fucking sleeve. Got gang
You know my name. What's your name?
I don't give that out.
or she.
It's against my policy. It's against my policy to give out my name.
Your policy? Who do you work for?
Me?
You work for you?
Yeah, sir.
I'm not a sir.
Okay.
So
Did y'all hear that?
Yes.
I'm not a sir. I was like, this whole time I was like, no, come on.
Isn't this?
No way.
All
you
right.
Correct me if
don't
I'm
want to give
wrong.
me your name?
Hold on,
Nope.
Sovereign. Pause it real quick.
Shit out of that water.
Why not?
Because I don't want to.
Pause it real quick.
I don't like giving out my name.
Can you pause it real
Can I get
fast,
your name and
Sovereign?
badge number, sir?
Holy
Correct me if
shit.
I'm wrong, but isn't this younger officer that they're talking to? Hasn't he also popped up in at least one armed fisherman video? Because he looks familiar.
I'm not sure. That's a she. That's a she. Be careful. Don't misgender.
Oh, was it a female?
Yeah. That guy
What?
blew me away too. And then this guy right here has been Terry. I think you visited this guy with your little donut run a few too many times, bro.
I was gonna say it. I was gonna say when did I show up? I don't remember being on this call.
Yeah. No, look at this guy. Come on, that guy. I bet you know you could make him exercises if you roll a donut down the road. Maybe he'll chase it. You know.
Poor guy.
It's a rough crew.
So what was you gonna say about it, Ledge?
Well, I was gonna say, have you seen the? I mean, Lord forgive me, and I'm not shaming this guy. I'm making light of the situation. But have you guys seen memes where it shows the really big cop, and he's obviously extremely overweight, and he's got this young guy, and he's standing there talking to him, and the guy looks at the camera and he smiles, and the caption says, "Should I run just for fun?"
Well, I mean, think about it. Look at this guy in the picture that we see right here. And do you see him running through neighborhoods and hopping fences? I mean, honestly, do you see that coming around?
I personally.
Why would he need to hop the fence? He just runs through it.
I see him.
I mean, I'm not trying to shame the man. Understand, I'm not trying to shame the man. I'm just saying that if you're in a law enforcement position and that is part of your job, it seems like there should be a certain standard to try to maintain or hold to or work for, something to drive to.
I get it, Terry. I get it.
A lot of
Okay.
times we don't see it.
They got it in the military. I mean, you can't be above a certain weight if you're
right.
You can be over.
Right.
We had a fat kid in our basic training, and they wouldn't have let him eat. They would only let him get salad at the chow, in the mess hall. That's all he was allowed. And one time he got some dinner and he got in trouble because the drill sergeant caught him with food instead of salad and shit. Because he was too fat.
I know where this is going, and I see what you're trying to say. It's okay. I promise. I'll get back to training soon. But for now, excuse me while I grab me a donut.
Well, I saw one. I stopped at a little burger joint, one of those old timey style ones in New Mexico one time. And I went over to use the restroom, and here's this cop standing outside his car, and he was maybe 1.5 to 2 times as big as this guy.
Oh, wow.
I'm not shitting you. I could not believe that he was that. And like you were saying, there should be some kind of a minimum physical requirement. They have that in the military, and age and height and shit is all taken into compensation. Like you have to do a certain amount of push-ups in 2 minutes, a certain amount of sit-ups in 2 minutes, and you're supposed to be able to run a mile within a certain prescribed amount of time.
Well, Sovereign, they do that for the academy, but I would say this guy's probably been out of the academy for a while.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Shouldn't they maintain something like somebody said he could just run through the fence? He'd be like the Kool-Aid guy.
Look at Allied Forces comment at 8:37. I think he's cream filled.
Well, I think a cop that size really like that, he's going to go, fuck it and just shoot somebody. I'm not chasing that son of a bitch. I'll shoot him first, That's get alive. Yeah. Pretty bad.
It's one of those Second Amendment guys.
Excuse me?
You're one of those Second Amendment guys, aren't you?
Second Amendment?
Yeah. Civil rights guys?
Civil rights guys.
What's your name and badge number?
What's your info?
JP Gunning.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There you have it. What's yours?
What's your badge number?
P3703.
Pete?
He looks like, sorry, folks. Park's closed. Moose out front should have told you.
3703.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you, because that's your policy.
Yeah, I know.
Is there something wrong with Second Amendment? You don't like the Second Amendment?
I'm not going to
Hell
have this
no.
conversation with you.
Well, you're the one brought it up, though.
No, that's just who you are, though. I've seen your picture on the email, so.
If you don't want to have the conversation, why you bring it up? I'm just curious on that one right there.
Because that's who you are, right?
You see me, my picture as a Second Amendment person, huh?
Yes, sir.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's worrisome that there's emails going around that this guy is pro Second Amendment, this guy's pro First Amendment. Why would that be something that police agencies would have to be alerted of?
Well, it may not be a negative alert. It may be a, hey, these guys aren't bad guys at all.
Sure.
Doesn't
Or
have
it
to be
could
negative.
even be something we don't. I mean, I don't know if it gets into this later on in the video, but maybe it's even him sending it to the chief saying, "Hey, just give you a heads up. I'm out exercising my rights." Blah 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 blah. I don't know. I mean, I can't gather, but it's possible because the way he addressed it, it sounded like he was telling him, "Oh yeah, it's in your pictures in the email." Like he knew that this guy would recognize what he was talking about. So that's why I said that. I don't know. But this is well, I can tell you already, Sovereign, and you know where I'm going to go with this. You know, I'm a huge 2A guy, and so is Tom. I will say this, and I'll tell you guys, and I'll get further into this as we conclude the video. But sometimes, and I'll fall back to the same thing that I've said about First Amendment. Sometimes just because you can do something doesn't mean you necessarily should. Now, I don't know what context this guy's doing this. And I've got a lot of firearms and I do a lot of different things and I'm very pro gun. I teach gun self-defense and defensive tactics. And I love doing that. But I will say that I am absolutely 100%. I'm still conservative in the way that I practice my Second Amendment right. Not that I think it's necessarily wrong that you carry a rifle down the street. I just think it kind of makes you look a little silly. But that's just a personal thing of mine. It's not about against freedom or a professional standpoint. I just think that if you're really carrying a firearm down on the road because you have it on your shoulder and you're just trying to get attention, then it kind of seems like you're more trying to just start it is really practicing your right.
Are you telling me that getting a strap for my 12 gauge and wearing it across my back while I'm auditing might be too much grandstanding? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it might be. Yeah, grandstanding is the term I was looking for. Thank you, Terry. Yeah, that would be what I'm kind of getting. You're making a human spectacle of yourself. Just in my opinion. And like I said, you guys and anybody that knows me knows that it really doesn't come any more pro 2A than me. Like, I mean, I can't imagine anybody feeling any differently than I do as far as strong pro 2A. But like I said, and I carry a firearm almost everywhere I go. I just don't try to be unnecessarily showboating about it, if that makes sense. So, and once again, I don't know what this guy's doing. I'm not going to pretend to know because I'm watching what we see as it comes in front of us. So, but that's just my first take.
Ironton Auditor, as long as you're not going out auditing dressed like, say, like a creepy grandma, I'd say you're not showboating. Only truly crazy people would go out dressed like creepy grandmas. Just saying.
I've seen that.
I'll tell you what I did as of late. I actually bought a highly reflective vest, and I wear it now over everything. And the only reason was because I had stepped out. You know, sometimes I might come popping out between two parked cars. And here a week or so ago, I jumped out with the highway patrol, and they were a little nervous. So now, when everybody shines that light back, they'll immediately be able to recognize that it's me. I'm probably going to be the only person out there after dark wearing one of these, you know, that's jumping out of the car with a camera and a pistol. So I'm hoping that eases their minds and they can continue on with what they're doing. They don't have to concentrate on me.
All right, we're ready when you are, Sovereign.
Well, I'm looking here. At Fab Daddy's wondering if you're pro-Chinese cop. Something about Chinese cops in the United States.
Huh?
I don't know.
I know what that is.
Well, apparently the Chinese have either infiltrated or set up their own departments inside the United States, supposedly tracking Chinese citizens or something. But anyway, Congress knows it's there. And the security agency, everybody knows it's there. They're just not doing shit about it is the problem.
Wow, that's news to me. I had no clue about that. I don't know.
There's one that's getting all the headlines, but I want to say that one was in New York. But it's exactly as Terry just said. In theory, it's not the only one.
Okay.
Hey, sir, we have a new panel member there. Uncle Artie's
up. Okay. Let me get over to him. I don't know why I can't see it, but you guys can.
I've already brought him up. I was just letting you know he's up here.
Oh my gosh, Terry, you got to use better judgment. You can't just let anybody in here.
What's that, goo boy?
Oh my God.
Who boy?
Want a shot at the title? I'll give you a shot.
It's just right there that we will literally let anybody come in and hang out with us. We're that desperate for friends.
Yeah,
Hi, Artie. Hi, how are you?
Hey, good boy, I'm coming after you, boy. I want a shot at the title. Come on.
Oh my gosh, Artie. What's going on, Artie? Were you ever starting trouble on somebody else's channel?
Something like that.
There wasn't something like that. It's exactly what it was. You know what it was. Were you...
Yeah, well, you get that damn sign off my face. You know, every time you bring me up on the panel, it's going to end up like this.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Chad, it's like
no
that.
Doubt.
It's like
no
that. Chad, it's like that guy you bring up that always wants to talk about swallowing his salty nuts. I mean, certain things you can just predict.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
you
you throw it a bottle, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Hey,
Uncle Artie, you saw that, huh?
Hey, salty nuts. Didn't K4 have an event or something like that happen today?
Yeah, he did. Possibly as a no, I'm not going to go there, but yeah, K4 has arrived. I'm given to understand that both he and Mrs. K4, along with the new arrival, are all doing very well. They will probably be, according to K4, they will be in the hospital through the night. But yeah, the birth was quick and free of difficulty. So
awesome. Well, congratulations to K4 and his family. That's amazing. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
See, you thought I'd come up here raising hell. What's wrong with you, Chad?
Artie, it's early. You'll raise hell in just a minute.
Artie, don't make me get on a plane.
You want a shot at the title too?
Oh God!
What is it? Blue Bear would say, "I don't think I want to see that."
All right, Sovereign. Whenever you're ready, buddy, you can go ahead and.
I'm done fooling around.
Hey, Chad, check your messages again.
Yeah, I'll say
Great law talk between the law guys.
Oh my God!
They're ready for the
No, it's definitely not. Well, yeah, it probably is pretty much police talk. Yeah. Let's just say he explained browning the meat to me, Brandon.
And that's how my stream started, Captain Chad. So all those times I said Blue Bear needed to come by to provide adult supervision, I stand by those. I stand by that because someone has to show us how to do all that debauchery the right way.
I find that very interesting. On an email, an official email. Do you remember what it says? Because I'm going to FOIA that and see what it says, because I'd like to know.
That's our personal knowledge.
Yeah, but it's public record if it's in an email, official email.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see about getting that one.
Okay.
City of Charlotte's usually pretty good about giving out FOIA requests. They answer them pretty good.
Real quick. So you're telling me that Brand Example News had its picture taken from another Auditor incident, and it was sent in a company-wide email saying, watch out for this Second Amendment guy, like he's a terrorist looking to do harm to someone. This is a perfect example on why you don't hand over your ID when a cop requests it. To be honest, this is most likely going to happen to your volunteer information. But I'm glad to hear the Brand Example News say he's going to FOIA that email. If you're not familiar with the FOIA, that's an acronym for Freedom of Information Act. As you can see on the screen, the Freedom of Information Act is the U.S. federal Freedom of Information law that requires the full or partial disclosure of previously unreleased or uncirculated information and documents controlled by the United States government, state, or other public authority upon request. So remember, this is your right to obtain certain information that they try to hide from us. That is public knowledge.
City of Charlotte's usually pretty good about giving out FOIA requests. They answer them pretty good.
So actually, I do have a question for you.
Okay, question. I might answer it, I might not. You never know.
Why?
Just being an ass.
Why do you do this?
Why not?
Knowing that we have sergeants that look at our body camera and would report any violation to our internal affairs office, why do you feel the need to come out and police the police?
You never know. Sometimes they.
Can I address that? I'll tell you why.
Sure.
Because I've actually had it happen to me where they omit and alter video data. Click off their mic. You have to go through a ton of hoops to try to get it in some cases. And no, their internal affairs, yeah, they look at it and say, we investigated ourselves and found we did nothing wrong. That's the problem. I agree with the body cameras, but the thing is that they shouldn't be allowed to be shut off like that. They shouldn't be allowed to edit them, and they do. I mean, I got this dash cam footage from the trooper in Arizona, and it looked like it was produced by David Selznick. Total letterbox. It was like this. It was like, where am I at? Oh, I gotta go down here. Yeah, it was like this, real narrow. Bottom of my car is cut off, top of my car is cut off, and you got this big wide field of view. There's no dash cameras working like that. It was ridiculous, man. The first one they sent to me, they busted it in half on purpose before they mailed it, because the envelope that it came, because the envelope that it came in wasn't even creased or bent. One of those cardboard envelopes with the bubble wrap and shit on the inside of it. That thing wasn't even creased or anything, but the disc was snapped in half. You got to put some pressure on those things to snap them in half. So then when I finally got the second copy from them, they sent it to me. It was this redacted, edited bullshit that you couldn't even halfway see anything. It's crazy. Do they have any memos? Do you guys get emails like that, Chad? About, or Blue Bear, about people that are, like what this guy's
I never have. And I want to clarify too, like, can't obviously answer for all body cams, but generally speaking, like for instance, our body cams aren't even maintained by us. It just uploads to a server to a company that maintains it. So as far as that goes, and then they actually, if there's anything that needs to be redacted or anything, like any kind of private information, they do that. So all that is part of it. So now I will say there are times where my guys are excused when they have to mute their body cam for something. If calling somebody and getting like a or like they're getting somebody's phone number or something like that, I will tell them to mute it so that it's not on body cam, because sometimes people are saying, hey, whatever their personal information is. But overall, we don't do that. When we get out, we leave our body cam rolling until or if it's something really sensitive, like if we go in and it's something with a child, or we go in somebody's house, it's there's obviously basic class will where you don't want to record something that's I tell my guys, if we go on like a death scene and it's an elderly person and stuff, that we don't have any reason to think that there's anything suspicious about it or whatever. There's no need in recording that. I think that's just tacky. But that's just my opinion.
No, I notice I see these kind of body cameras that this guy's wearing all the time, and I think it's called an Axon. That's what I always see on the
right.
little
It's a taser. That's the taser company. Yes.
Okay. Now,
Axon also does body cameras.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got that. So I see those, and then I've seen other ones that they've got where it's like on their shoulder. Have you ever see those?
Right. This difference. It's where they put them. They'll hang them on a lapel on the shoulder. There's some actual Class A uniforms. Like this guy's actually got his dress blues, or what he would refer to as regular everyday blues. There's some of them that actually have a hole in the shirt, so that the lens of the camera's underneath the shirt, in between the shirt and the vest, and the lens is the only thing that sticks out of the shirt. Probably that's just a basic Axon camera that it appears to me anyway.
Okay.
Hey, gang, I hate to do this, but adulting calls, so I've got a zap. Just want to say thanks to Captain Chad and Sovereign Soul for having me. Arrington Auditor, thank you.
What, you don't want any more salty nuts?
I would like nothing better, but I have to.
Got all the salty nuts down here at the bar, and girl, you want?
That's just nuts right there.
Oh, deep throat the bottles all you want, baby.
You promise? You say that now, but
hey, I got an opening too. I fired old Chad from security and cleaned the toilets. So if you want a new job, hey,
Blue Bear has taught me that when anyone says they have an opening, I have to ask, is the meat browned?
Oh my God.
It's pink. It's pink in the center.
All right, gang, I gotta run. We must do this again.
Hey, thanks for coming up, Brandon. I appreciate you hanging out with us, buddy.
My pleasure, sir. Y'all be good. Behave yourselves.
All right. See you soon.
Never.
All right. All right. Sovereign, if you want to get on going with it, we can keep her going, buddy.
Attack you.
Now,
So if you got the email about me,
I've been doing this over 20 years, and I've never attacked somebody.
but if you got an email about me,
Yeah.
me personally, you know I was attacked.
No, it doesn't give us that kind of information.
But I will grant it, it was not Charlotte Mecklenburg Police that did it.
Okay. I'm willing to listen
It was-
real quick.
It was G4S.
20 years, no strikes. Pay attention.
That did it.
Down at the transit center.
See, if you know me, you know what happened.
Actually, but you see, you know how many emails I see in a day?
Uh-huh.
So fill me in. G4S attacked you at our transit center?
Yeah, we'll see. It's all, I got to keep all that in on wraps because there's going to be a big court case about that. Really big one.
Do I have to wait? Because
Well, I'm going to do a report on that.
I don't watch the news that much, so
I'm going to do a report on
can
that.
you just fill me in,
And
sir?
all of it will be on a report.
But
And
really,
when I do the report, I'm sending it to Charlotte City
okay.
because I've already got G4S's contract, and they breached the contract several times. And their contract ends in October, and then they've got city has an option of renewing it for a year. I'm gonna see about stopping that renewal. That's my plan now since I was attacked by them.
Let's see what you're causing.
Nope, I'm not causing that.
Watch what you're causing.
You see that right
I
there?
didn't see it yet.
I'm parked here because I'm talking to you.
You see where she parked? She's out of the way.
No?
You parked in the way. I've stood here and watched several trucks come out here.
You're the
I'm not,
cause of it.
I'm
You're
not
the cause.
causing this.
You're
No,
the cause.
that's projection. That is projection. There's
You're the
plenty of
cause.
places for you to park where they could have got through, but you refuse to do that. You'd rather
But
park
if
in the
you
way.
weren't here doing this, we wouldn't be out here.
She didn't park in the way. She did not park in the way. You parked in the way. You
This guy
caused
don't have
it,
too many
not me.
brain cells, does he?
I
No,
wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you.
that's projection. That is
What?
pure projection. Your projection, your flaws on me.
Dumbass.
My response.
That is your flaw that you parked in that driveway when there's all kinds of other ways to park.
Sir, it's not a flaw.
It is a flaw.
But anyway,
Question.
Did you come out here to start filming because you knew we were gonna get a call on you?
No, I was hoping you wouldn't call. Nobody would call. I was hoping nobody would call. Is what I was hoping for. It's exactly what I was hoping for. Now, did I call? Have I done anything illegal? Have I broken any laws? Okay, so no. So it wasn't me. So it wasn't me that caused it because I broke no law. I did nothing wrong. Did I do anything wrong? Did I do anything illegal? Did I break any laws?
Yeah, but you just made the ambulance stop because they thought the accident was there, you dumb fuck.
And he could have parked anywhere else except for right there.
First, let's acknowledge the fact that this cop has been with the department for over 20 years, but still doesn't have any stripes. Still responding to calls for a citizen filming on the side of the road. Oh, and let me answer your question on why do you feel the need to police the police? Maybe because police lie, arrest, beat, and pew citizens for victimless crimes that most likely are escalated by the police. So that's why we need to police the police. Also, the fact that the cop stated that Brand Example News was the reason for the traffic backup is one of the major issues we have between law enforcement and citizens. Most cops' thinking process doesn't add up to the level of our community needs to trust them with the badge, gun, and the authority they have. But before we go, let's watch this clip back.
You know my name. What's your name?
I don't give that out. It's against my policy. It's against my policy to give out my name.
Your policy? Who do you work for?
Me?
In my opinion, this reply should be used more often. I loved it. Cop said, you know my name, so what's your name? Brandon Example News had the best comeback ever. He said, I don't give that out. It's against my policy. To me, that sounds professional, as if he's actually working for a company, and that is their actual policy. But that's going to do it for this video. Much love to Brandon Example News. Again, make sure you use the links in the description below to show him some love and check out his most recent videos. Also, make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you won't miss the next video. If you made it this far, you are the real CT3 fam, and thank you so much. And remember, if you can believe it, you can achieve it. Until next time, peace.
If you notice fuel trucks going by and a bunch of fuel tanks and all that stuff in the background, yeah, it's like a vital supply of stuff. How do we know he ain't filming some shit to perform a terrorist attack or something like that?
Well, my question is, while you're asking that question, my question is, what business is of yours what he's doing on the sidewalk filming from a public location?
Well, and here's another aspect of it too. You got cars whizzing by there all day long with dash cams, right? You've got trucks and vehicles going in and out of that entrance and coming back out with dash cams on. Not to mention, you can pick up that address on Google Earth and really get a good surveillance of the entire setup.
Hey, Captain.
Yeah, buddy.
Captain, it is 9 o'clock. I just realized it. I got to jump off here and start my members only live. Gotcha. And Uncle Artie, I wasn't trying to be a smartass. I was just saying there's too many nosy people in the world worried about what some guy with a camera is doing. If he's out there with a camera, I doubt if he's going to film his own crime. Just saying. Guys, I love you all. It was glad to see you here. I've got to go over. I've got a members only live that I'm already late for. So I apologize for dropping out so quick. Y'all have a great night. Thank you.
I might pop over later.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, let me get your opinion on this, Tom, especially from the 2A standpoint. I'd like you to come chime in. What's your take on this situation?
I mean, I get the auditor position of going out, I'm not doing anything wrong. I mean, I get all that and I'm fine with it. But we watched one last time we did this. We watched one that was the last one we watched where both sides were good. The guys protesting, doing the auditing were nice, polite, congenial. The cop showed up. He was the same way. This guy we just listened to, he was just as big an asshole as the cops. He just doesn't have a badge is the only difference. I mean, he was making everything adversarial when it just didn't need to be.
Right. I think that's
what did you find adversarial? Because I mean,
it was way back, half an hour ago or whatever. I don't remember. But he was. I mean, so one thing could be a tone of voice. So, what's your name and badge number? I get my name, badge number. What's your name? Oh, that's not my policy. Here's what I do. Here's why I do it. Explain yourself in a congenial way. Educate the law enforcement. But he was just, not my. You could just hear it in his voice. I want to confront you. I want you to be taken aback by my actions. It wasn't. It
sounded more like I don't feel like talking to you. Stop asking me shit. I mean that would be where I would be. Is like, why are you even talking to me? Why are you here? You got a call. So what? Go talk to the people that called you then. I don't have any business with you. I'm not here to discuss my day with you or anything else. I'm well within my rights. I'm not breaking the law.
That's what he should have said. That's what he should, but he didn't. He kept throwing out other things. He changed the subject, brought up more things. Like, okay, I remember what was adversarial when the guy mentioned the email. He said, "Oh yeah, I've seen you. This is what you are, right?" Then he starts saying that he starts acting like the cop brought it up in order to talk about the other stuff. And the cop just said, "Is that who you are?" That's all. All he could have said was, "Yes, I'm a Second Amendment auditor. I'm a First Amendment auditor. Whatever the case is, here's what I do." Like I said, you can be educational to the police, and you may get converts.
Suppose he hadn't seen his picture on an email.
Well, I mean, we can what if all day.
I mean, that's what's got me is why in the hell is there even an email? That's ridiculous.
I don't know if it's ridiculous or not, because I'd have to know what the email says and what the purpose is.
And I think that's too what we'd have to imply is it's very possible that it could have just been a Department of Communication saying, "Hey, look, guys, there's a guy that's walking around. He's got an AR strapped to his back. He's not a threat. He's just a YouTube guy. He's just doing his thing, blah, blah, blah."
Could be a positive email.
Yeah, it may not be confrontational. And as far as why the police were called there, we don't have discretion over responding to calls. If we have somebody call us and they have public safety, we have to go. And then when we get there, how that maintains or how that transpires can be either one of two ways. And I think the problem was, and I could kind of pick up on his tone too, like Tom did. I think it's a whole different thing than what we seen last week with at the end of the show, with the guy just trying to be cordial and doing his thing. I'm not saying this guy was doing anything wrong by any means, but I just think that there's the old saying, there's skin a cat. I think he could have probably achieved just as much by they saying, "Hey guys, look, yeah, I'm out here. I'm just practicing my Second Amendment rights. I mean you no harm, whatever. How you guys doing today?" Type thing. Because I think that goes a long way. Just being kind and respectful, treat everybody the way that you'd want to be treated and stuff. And I don't know how the police. I don't know anything about that department or whatever. But to me, I'll tell you, I'm going to share one of my stories with you guys while we're on this topic. And this was a 2A thing, and I think I talked about this before, but I'll share it again. I actually got a call of this exact same thing. There was a guy at McDonald's, and he has back, and he was, walking around, with a phone filming, and he was just kind of doing his thing, and he was trying to draw attention to himself, which is perfectly fine. I don't really care. But obviously, the people at McDonald's are threatened by it, and they don't know what's going on, so they want us to check it out. So I get out and I walk up, and so I said, "Hey, buddy, what's going on?" And he goes, "Am I being detained?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Oh, well, why did you come up and talk to me?" I said, "Well, people called on you." "Well, I'm practicing my Second Amendment right. I'm perfectly fine." I said, I'm perfectly, in tune with that. I can understand whatsoever, what you're doing here." And he says, "Well, I feel like I'm being harassed." And I said, "You've literally talked more than I have. I literally walked up to you and said, 'Hey, how are you?' And you started attacking me. What's wrong with you, dude?" So he goes on this big spiel about how it's his right and all stuff. I said, "You're absolutely right, except you forgot one major thing." "What's that?" "It was McDonald's that called. You're on private property. They don't want you here. Your Second Amendment rights don't apply to private property. You need to go. They don't want you here. That's the end of it. You're more than welcome to practice your Second Amendment rights anywhere you want to, that they respect it. That their rights as private property owners, they have the right to determine who's on their property, and they don't want you here." The look on his face was like, "Oh shit, he got me." And I was like, "Look, but I want to show you something." And he says, "Okay." And I said, "Come over to my cruiser." And I literally got into my gun safe in my cruiser, and I showed him at the time. I think I had a select fire rifle in there and a couple different things from SRT. And I was like, "Check that out." And he's like, I'm not gonna touch it, because if I touch it, you're just trying to entrap me." I said, "Dude, quit watching so much damn TV." I was like, "You're in Southern Ohio." I was like, "This is not some freaking Northeast or far Pacific West that's worried about this type of shit, dude. I would be more alarmed if you didn't have a gun, okay? But you got to stop. You're take far as a good Second Amendment, activist, if you will. If you really are the pro Second Amendment, if you're really doing something right for our rights, stop making a spectacle of yourself. That's not what we need. We need people to exercise their rights 100%. But don't go out to McDonald's and walk around with a damn camera and a freaking rifle on your back. What do you think people's going to do? They're going to call the police, and you're looking for a bad encounter. If you really are pro gun, you know what? I can tell you this, and I get on Terry for safety reasons, carries, and I want to wring his neck for it, because that's a safety hazard, in my opinion. But that's a whole different story. And he knows how I feel about that. But anyway, but here's my thing. If you really are a good pro 2A guy, you should be the only one knowing that you got your gun on you, because that's what it's all about. It's all about being able to defend yourself and the people you love and doing the right thing for the right reasons. And if you're broadcasting your firearm out in public, that gun belongs to whoever gets to it first. And if it's on your back, first of all, you probably don't have a whole lot of real immediate use for it anyway, because if it's strapped on your back, you're going to have to swing it around and make it ready and everything like that. And that's just not real practical. So the only thing you're doing is literally out there trying to have, for lack of better explanation, a dick measuring contest with somebody who doesn't really give a damn. So use your head. That's what I'm trying to say. And once again, I absolutely I bleed pro 2A. Huge constitutionalist guy when it comes to Second Amendment. I've got more guns than I got sense. But I can tell you 100%, you've got to use your damn head. I mean, going out there and carrying a rifle on your back. Yes, you're right. You can do that all you want to. Should you? No, you shouldn't. Just because it seems silly. You're just drawing attention to yourself. Tom, concur? Thoughts? I'm just curious.
Yeah, concur. And as a matter of fact, I would even go further to say there may be a time coming up, or even at different cities and places around the nation in our past, where the cops are very happy you're walking around with a rifle on your back. You know, those times come up, and that's why the law is as it is. You know, our founders said that, you know, I'll give you the modern version of what they said. They talked about our liberty was only good for a virtuous people. You know, there's a few different quotes from different founders, but it basically comes down to a religious, virtuous. And when you read what they said in a broader context, what I tell people is that it's a self-disciplined people, because it's a concept that's in the Bible. It's a concept all throughout civilization and in our founding, that if I can't be self-disciplined, right, then somebody.
Oh, you're speaking sovereign's language now. You're actually starting to speak that.
No, I mean, you could be atheist and believe this. I mean,
I'm being silly.
Yeah. So if I'm not self-disciplined in a way that I'm problematic for others around me, you know, just in a generic concept, then somebody's going to step in and discipline me for me. I mean, this is exactly how I raised my kids. You got to understand who your boss is. And I'm not talking about kneeling down and licking boots. I don't mean that kind of thing. I mean your rightful bosses in life. We've all got them, right? We've all got them to some degree, even among liberty.
I guarantee I got it.
Yeah. And you know, we've all got that. So I'm just saying, so here's going back to where we are. Yeah, you can carry a rifle on your back, but to act like nobody's going to raise an eyebrow when it's out of context. There's a context. If I go up to McDonald's right now and I've got 3 ARs in my vehicle, fine. I have that right? But if I want to get up and go in with one, now what's the context? The context, it's normal for people to go, what's going on? Just like if I walked in a tutu, right? I could walk in with a tutu and a twirling baton with my bald head and my beard, and people are going to look at me and go, what is going on there? Right?
Promise me you'll do that next stream.
No.
I mean, everybody knows that you at least you don't go any bigger than an SBR if you go into a place like that. You know, I mean,
you say everybody, but no, they don't actually. There's a lot of.
So what you're saying, Sovereign, is we leave the FNFALs at the house and not have them literally.
right. You know, take
the Browning machine guns.
A PCC is nice. You know, like that little 9mm X-Tar I've got. That's acceptable. You know, and there's different occasions. You know,
it's like.
You got the Kimber for the weddings, and you know
right. It's classy, yeah. Right.
You got your church going to your Sunday going to church gun.
Right. So it's like women accessorize. We should too. You know.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I've shared this with you before, Sovereign, but that meme where the guy says, you know, it's got the 2 cartoons, the women speaking each other, and it says, "Oh my gosh, fall's here. You know, pumpkins this colors and all this stuff like that," and the woman says, "Oh no, I'm so excited." Blah 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 blah. And then at the bottom, it's got the 2 dudes looking at each other. And he's like, "Finally, fall weather. I can carry my full-size Glock 19. And his buddy looks at him because I got a full-size FNL under my jacket. FNFAL under my jacket. Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's a guy. That's a dude right there. Like, I got a full-size 308 rifle on my jacket.
Nice.
You know,
Blue Bear, I wanted to ask you, Blue Bear, if you don't care.
I had a cool thing. I just saw it. It was interesting. It was by that same guy, that CT3. And it was, you know, you were talking about this guy being paranoid about the cops. Oh, you're just trying to set me up and shit. Well, in this thing, the guy had gone to the emergency room because he was like super paranoid. He had some mental issues. And his psychosis was that he thought the cops were out to get him. And they calmed him down and told him, no, the cops aren't out to get you. They don't target one individual person, like, you know, that kind of thing, and calmed him down and sent him out. He no sooner got past the hospital, he was going by a correctional place walking, and he matched the description. They thought he was an escaped inmate, and they fucking sent dogs after him. The dogs took him down, and then the cops piled on him right after. And he's like,
"Oh my God."
Right after being told that the cops are not after you, don't worry. And then that happens. He's never going to get better. You know, he's never.
No shit. Poor guy. So Blue Bear, I'm going to ask you, buddy. You've been silent here. What's your take on that whole video we just watched?
Well, you know, and this is, and I'm probably going to get crucified for saying this, but
here it comes.
Yeah. Sovereign's probably chomping at the bit already. I can see the smile on his face.
Oh, you know, I ain't like that. You know better.
You know, in my opinion, that guy was a little bit of a dick.
He was a lot of a dick.
That interaction could have gone a complete 180-degree different way if he would have just been cordial.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because I don't know about you, Chad, because I've never seen you do you on the job.
And you don't want to.
You know, I can only speak for myself. But if I walk up to somebody and I'm being cordial and say, "Hey, I got a call," so on and so forth, that's the reason I'm here. You know, what's going on?
Right.
And if they come off with an attitude right out of the gate, then I might not be so nice.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
I try to be respectful to everyone until they give me a reason not to be.
Right. And I think that goes with anything, man. I mean, you know, if you go to the grocery store, you know, and you've got an attitude and a chip on your shoulder, you know, you're probably going to have an ill reception. You know, and I think that's the problem, and I think that's the problem with a lot of auditors in general. Now, and I've said this, and I made a video about this, my thoughts on auditors, and I'll tell you this: I don't have a problem one bit whatsoever with anybody exercising their First, Second, or any amendment. I don't care, but I can tell you 100%. I think just because you can doesn't mean that you have to be a dick about it. Be polite, be respectful, whatever, you know, because here's the thing. There might be somebody who struggles with some kind, you know, some type of, who knows what they've been through. You know, I know we've actually shared the chat before with some people who had actually had some PTSD, you know, and that's the thing too, is, you know, I'm not saying that that's an all the time type thing, but, you know, with you carrying a rifle on your back and it, you know, with what in today's society and some of the crazy stuff we've been through, you know, use your head a little bit. That's all I'm saying. And if the police do approach you, you got to kind of expect it. You know, expect it. Be polite, be cool, be cordial, and go on about your way.
So let me give what I believe would be a couple points of advice to auditors. One, if you're just a dick, then the fact that they are, it just all blends together, and you both look like dicks. So if you're nice and cordial and they're dicks, now you've exposed that they're just assholes. That's what they're out there to do, right? So, but if you go in guns blazing, you know, verbally and with your body language and so forth, then when they respond the same way, you're going to get people like most of us sitting here today doing this thing. We're going to be like, well, yeah, the guy's an ass. So his point wasn't made if they had been doing something, if they had been asses. How are we going to know? You know, because all of us, I think, would respond generally more negatively than that. Two, if you respond cordially and explain what you're doing, you may get some cops you can convert, right? You may get cops that you turn into saying, you know, these guys are out here doing good things. Policing us is good. That keeps us, you know, that keeps me, the bad guys on my force, that keeps them from thriving and getting promoted and staying around. You know, convert the cops. But if you go in with an asshole attitude, it all goes away.
And I think that's what's so special about Terry, though. I think that's why I'm hoping that Terry's approach becomes more of a consistent, because Terry does the same thing as these guys. As a matter of fact, Terry's covering both 1 and 2 because he carries a firearm on his side all the time, and he goes out and films. You know, my officers in Ironton. I shouldn't say my officers. You know, that work for IPD. And I think because he has been kind and respectful, my guys absolutely embrace him. They think he's perfectly fine. They don't mind a bit that he's there because he's made them relax. He's not confrontational. He doesn't go up and try to pick fights with them, as well as, you know, they know
he doesn't create a me versus you attitude right off the bat. And that's what this guy did. He created a me
Exactly.
versus you
Mhm.
right off the bat.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah,
and I think
and
that's. Go ahead,
go ahead,
Luke.
Jeff. You know, it's just like in any interaction.
Correct.
I mean, I this is the first time I've met Tom. You know, if I come in here and I go, well, who's this bald-headed dick? You know, he's going to look at me and go, well, who's this fucker?
Yeah,
Who's this
are you, man?
animated bear with an AR?
You know,
I can't
But-
see you at all. I don't know.
you know, it's kind of like mixing oil and water together. You know, when I come in, I was like, hey, you know, how you doing? Be cordial.
Yeah.
You know, and I try to do that on every interaction. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you know, just be cordial. Don't make me have to do my job.
Well,
Let's
and that's
pay
the
for
thing
work.
too is when it comes to the practicality of your Second Amendment, and if we're thinking in terms of self defense, let's just back up and let's just go back to self defense. First of all, like I said, and there was somebody that I'd highlighted a couple comments in the chat a minute ago that said, you know, the dangerous guy in the room is the one that does type thing. And that's the reality of it. You know, and that's the reason why I conceal carry when I'm off duty, is simply because I would rather me have my firearm and me be the only person in the room that knows that I do. Because God forbid I ever have to use that firearm. I want it to be a complete surprise to my adversary. Now,
Yep.
granted, I don't want to ever shoot anybody, so please nobody go out there and start mixing up what I'm saying. I don't want to hurt anybody ever, on duty or off duty. That's not my game. Forbid there be in a situation where maybe I'm out and about and some moron comes in and starts shooting up a place or shooting up our babies or something like that in school. I can promise you, I'm gonna go kill that son of a bitch. I mean, I don't care if I'm on duty or off duty. If I can get in a school where some crazy bastard's in there hurting kids, I'm gonna go in there and neutralize his ass. I can assure you that. But ultimately, if you act like you have a little sense and you keep that gun concealed, you've got a major advantage. You know, from being in the situation. And Tom, I think you and I had actually watched a video a time ago, and you may or may not remember this. I don't know, but you actually showed it to me, and it was because we were having this exact discussion, and we've always kind of seen eye to eye on this. I think, as far as being more concealed than open carry. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and if you do remember, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it was in Brazil, and an off-duty police officer that was robbed. And the guy, and do you remember this video?
Oh yeah, very clearly.
Okay.
Yep. Showed it to a bunch of people.
Okay, and the reason why it stuck out to me was this guy done everything right, in my opinion.
He did. That's the reason I show it to people. Is it's rare to even find it where you can say one side or the other, bad guy or good guy, right? Because sometimes you can look at the bad guy and go, "Wow, he did a lot of stuff right," you know. But in this case, yeah, the good guy. I mean, it was just flawless. It was just flawless.
Absolutely. And he done, you know, as I recall, he even kind of occupies, you know, his attacker with kind of distracting him, maybe even drop something or something. I can't remember exactly what it was.
It's an ATM in Brazil, and it's a big line of people, like ATMs in the 80s. If you remember back in those days, there'd be lines of people standing at them. So there's lines of people standing at this ATM. It's at an indoor location, like a mall or something. And and he's standing in line. Well, this punk comes up to the woman right in front of him, an Asian lady right in front of him, and starts robbing her. And the bad guy does have a gun on him in this woman's ribs. And so then the bad guy comes to him, and he bends down, and he's got like necklaces. And I guess the guy's saying, "Give me your jewelry." And he bends down and drops it on the ground. And as he drops it on the ground, as he's raising up, he's angling off and drawing. Goes around the person that was standing in line behind him. He then goes around that person to come up behind the bad guy, right? Says something to him. Bad guy has gun, turns and points, and boom, 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 boom. Bad guy down. People scatter. He then gets his muzzle away from everybody, puts his back to a pillar, looks around. Then once he sees that's clear, he goes even to a better position, takes command of the situation. I mean, it's just all great. The whole thing's great.
As I recall, he was an off-duty police officer. It turned out
actually, off-duty police carrying concealed. Yep.
Right. And basically what the cool thing about this one was, Sovereign, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but he literally plays the victim. He's got his hands up in a surrender mode,
Yep.
okay. And he's literally dropping his stuff, and as he drops his chains off his neck, he essentially uses the woman behind him as a concealment. Now I'll be careful not to say cover, because there's a lot of people that think that they try to dissect.
I'd say distraction more, because
Yes.
it's while he's hidden by that woman that he draws.
Right. He used the concealment of that body in front of him to be able to draw his firearm. And as he goes around this person and he draws out and he extends and he literally domes him, bam, I believe right in the forehead, as I recall. It was lights out.
Yeah, I'm not sure you see it, but I think in the comments it tells you.
Yeah, it was a real of being somebody who's very tactically sound and is very keen on situational awareness.
And if
kept
he'd
his
have been an open
composure.
carry guy, he'd probably been shot first.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. And that's what I preach to Terry all the time, and he argues with me and stuff back and forth, because I always tell him, man, you're a lot safer if you want to keep that gun in the inside waistband so nobody can see you. But I understand that that's what you want to do, and that's perfectly fine. I agree with it because you're exercising your rights, and I'm behind that. But I just think from a tactical standpoint, you're probably better suited by keeping that gun where nobody can see it.
It's called shoot me first carry.
Yeah.
Well,
no kidding.
Well, and to get back to what you were,
or steal my gun carry.
This one we just watched. I'll go on and say just two things about it. First off, the encounter should have never taken place. It should have never taken place. Once the officer rode by and seen that he was on public property, he wasn't doing anything. Even if you want, sit up the street and keep your eye on him for a little bit. There was no reason for the encounter. So whoever was a dick was a dick, and yeah, the guy was a dick. He was. And that cop was dumb as a box of rocks. How do you 20 years on a police force, you ain't got a single strike? I mean, come on.
He's probably been on 15 different forces.
Yeah, it might be like one of those Brady cops.
Well, and that department I can speak to, it is a county-wide department, so it is a rather large department. Charlotte Mecklenburg, so they cover all of Mecklenburg County in the Charlotte metro area. They are one of two of police departments in the state of North Carolina that has countywide jurisdiction. So there is a abundance of officers in that agency. So, and Sovereign, to go back to what Chad said, when we get a call, we can't just say, "Oh, well, I'm not going."
Well, that's what I'm saying. No. Look, you could go and check it out. But, people call about all kinds of stupid shit. The thing you're doing, who called? Go talk to them. That's who.
Well, a lot of times we don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of times, and I can let me just give you a little background of what probably happened. And once again, I'm speaking completely hypothetically. I have no idea. They probably got 25 calls about that guy being out there with. I'm assuming he probably had a rifle or something. I don't know, but that seems to be the gist. And they probably got 25 calls. Now the problem is even if that would have been me, for instance, and I'd have been completely pro 2A and I was in trouble or whatever, I would have had to make an attempt for the public view to see that I'm out there at least trying and talking to this guy. Because if I don't, trust me, the bit begins.
Well, I would also say that just like he's saying, hey, that's a public place. Exactly. There's no reason why the cops can't walk up and just simply talk to you too.
Right.
It's a public place.
But then, the thing about the ID, and I'm like, wait a second. But what got me the worst out of it was this, because they're always doing that. I mean, a lot of these cops, IDs like crack. I don't know what it is, but it's like they get, I don't know, frequent flyer miles for using the David system, or what do they do? I don't know. But was it really necessary to block up all the, I mean, they a lot of times I watch these guys come in and they just park all stupid, block the road, block up a whole bunch of parking spots, whatever the case may be. And like, come on, if this was a hot type situation and you had to hurry up on the scene and get there, I could maybe see it.
Sure.
But something like this, and you got these trucks trying to do their commerce, trying to pull in down that road, and you're just standing out there. instead of just, you can see everything's okay, pull up off the side of the road, and then go hassle the guy or whatever it is you're going to do. But why in the hell are they always blocking up the fucking roads, man?
I can see both sides of it. The fact that I think those guys messed up by this, and I'll tell you how I would have handled it just for the sake of it. I probably would have went up and said, "Hey, buddy, just give you a heads up. I'm not getting in your hair. I know you're probably out here exercising your rights, and I completely support those. But you have to understand that I'm still paid by the citizens here that want me to come up and talk to you, so I can make them happy." So that being said, my name is Captain Gee with the City of Ironton Police Department. We've got a lot of calls on you, and I'm just checking on you so I can make everybody happy. I appreciate you practicing your Second Amendment right, but is there anything else that we need to know about? Blah 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 blah. And that type of thing. And I'd have probably moved on about my way. Because
they stood there. They stood there and they just kept engaging him too.
Yeah,
right.
And I thought that was stupid.
That's where I disagreed. It wasn't about their approach necessarily, as opposed to me. Once I realize who I'm dealing with here, I'm probably just gonna be like, it's kind of a waste of time.
Yeah, just leave.
Just let it go. So, but I think them being up there and showing themselves there was just more or less just a public pleaser type thing to kind of give a little bit of.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. LE guys. There we have, but you also want to be able to check on the mannerisms. Is this person carrying an AR shotgun on their back, which is not a problem, but are they also high on a drug? Did they seem to be psychotic? You want to at least check that kind of stuff. Have a small conversation to get some sort of idea, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
You go up, like Chad just said, you go up and you have a normal, cordial conversation, 30 seconds, 90 seconds. And that's it. Okay, this guy's not insane. He's one of these guys they call auditors. He does this, blah, blah, blah. He's a little bit of a dick, but I got better things to do with the rest of my day. I'll see you, man. That's it.
Right. Yep. And I think that's probably how it would have ended for me, simply because I don't have a whole lot of interest in it unless I'm interested in the kind of piece he's carrying from a personal standpoint.
Right.
But that's probably the extent of it for me anyway. And I'm a firm believer, like I said, and I've openly preached it, man. I'm a huge pro 2A guy. I think everybody should be, everybody that's competent. I've seen some pretty bad gun handling. But I will say that I think everybody should at least practice their Second Amendment right if they're competent to be able to do so, because that's how we guarantee. And I can tell you this too. And I've said this before, and I've said this in class, even teaching. I think when I was teaching for Tom, I've said this. I know you guys think that I won't, that myself or my men or whatever won't like you guys carrying or whatever, but that's nothing further than the truth, because I can tell you this: if I'm on the highway and I'm getting the hell whooped out of me, and somebody's got me down, beat my ass, I'd like to know that there's a patriot that's coming up that's got a sidearm on him, and he's going to say, "Bang, bang." Fights over, mother, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. And I think we just see that a couple years ago in Florida with a deputy, maybe? It was down there on the highway, and this guy was getting the best of him and gets on top of him and starts really waylaying him, and a patriot comes up, a concealed carrier, maybe. I don't know how he was carrying, it doesn't matter, but he was obvious, and he comes up and he says, "You know what? Better get off of him." Bam, bam. You know what? And that's how it should be, because yes, we are out there as the representatives of the people of the community, but we are still members of the community, and I'm still trying to do the right thing for the right reasons to get the right results. And if I seen anybody literally getting their head beat in, getting killed, that's going to draw my attention as just a man,
I got pulled over in Boulder City, Nevada, picking my son up from the airport in Vegas. And we were headed back to the access road to go through Death Valley. And this guy, he pulls us over and he says, "You have any weapons in the car?" I said, "Yes." He said, "What do you have?" I said, "I have a Ruger SR-22 automatic, and I have a Taurus Ultralight 38 Special." He says, "Are they loaded?" And I said, "Well, they're not much good if they're not loaded, are they?" He goes, "What are you doing riding around in the desert with guns?" And I just looked at him and gestured to his hip. I was like, "What are you riding around in the desert with guns for?" I says, "Relax, dude. I'm on your side." I had to actually tell him, "I'm on your side, man." You know, I'm not a bad guy looking for crime and shit. In fact, you know what you were saying, if you were getting your ass kicked on the side of the road and I come rolling along and say, well, this ain't right.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Let's even the odds. Yeah.
right,
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah. And I'm with you, man. And that's how I look at it too. You know. And first of all, let's just understand that Archangel is actually he's working at the North Pole. He just came into the chat. So, Arch, I appreciate your work up there, buddy, getting Santa Claus ready to go. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm completely with you as far as that goes, Sovereign. I think that's just that's a patriotic thing to do, you know. And I think that's just, and like I said, I referred to it earlier as just as a man, I would feel compelled, you know, because as a father, as a husband, because that guy's probably somebody else's father and husband, you know, and you know the opportunity to say, yeah, you know, nah, this ain't gonna cut it. So you know, and that's just how I feel about it, you know, and I'm sure everybody's got their own opinion.
My
But
my mission statement when I first started teaching firearms, I had just finished Ohio State, did a study in the Constitution and stuff, you know, and I'd been in the military, but I just never was a gun guy. Still not a gun guy, to be honest. But I decided I got to thinking about things, and I decided, yeah, and I got to thinking about things, and it crossed my mind one day, and that's when I said, "Yep, I'm going to start teaching," because I had a friend that wanted me to, and my mission statement is basically the more educated, armed, law-abiding citizens there are, the freer I am.
Sure.
So I think we should all. That's what irritates me when you get your. Here, I'm going to make fun of them in a certain way, right? When you get your elbow patch wearing NRA types, you know, the old school guys that are all about the duck hunting, and they talk about, well, it's good for me, but not for you, kind of thing. They always have that attitude. A certain group of them. You know, that group is one of the biggest problems in the Second Amendment community, because we should be spreading it to as many as are legal and law abiding, and we should educate them as much as we can, because that's just, you know, that's just the freer we all are that way.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Tell you 100%. Which, you know, Tom and I's actually talked about this before. You know, is you know, and I know that Ohio is a constitutional carry state now, and that kind of tends to be it's kind of getting more frequent, and we're seeing more and more, you know, states popping up that way. But I want to go on record saying that please understand that just because you can carry constitutionally, if you don't have training with your firearm, go seek some. There's still great probably in any state that you can look up. You can get, you know, some training. You can never ever have too much training with a firearm when you're talking about a deadly weapon. And if you can go seek training from a good qualified instructor, do it, because it's not going to hurt you in the long run, and you're not going to be sorry for going and slinging some lead either. I promise that. So, but I just kind of want to chime in on that real fast too, because it seems like a lot of people that are actually constitutionally carrying now are doing it because they can, and which they always did. Didn't realize that. But
Well,
they
and
definitely.
Chad, to piggyback off that, and Tom, you'll probably agree with this. As much as you and I handle a weapon, you know, 5 to 7 days a week on the job, we have to continually train.
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
You know, I try to shoot at least 6 or 7 times a year if I can. Ideally, I'd like to shoot once a month.
Right.
Can't afford it.
But,
right.
You know, with the cost of ammunition right now, I can't do it on my own because I'd go broke.
Right.
But, you know, we have to continually train. I don't know about Ohio, but where I'm at, we have to have so many continuing education hours every year.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's mandated by law to do that.
Which our firearm doesn't even count for our continuing education. That's a separate thing that's continuing.
Same thing with our state.
Okay.
You know,
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's our annual firearms is not counted towards our annual classes that we have to take.
By the way, to ZXL Master, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. If you guys can keep that going, keep all keep all the channels. If we can, if we have any mods in here
now.
But yeah, by all means, if you can keep those to share the link to Sovereign, to Blue Bear, and to Tom and Ironton Auditor, and keep them going. I appreciate it. Let me pull. I see Sovereign's got me something.
I'm gonna have to go, guys. I got something just came up.
Okay, I'm going to cut this short here right after this video so we can see. I think we might have some other people scream.
What happened? The Viagra kicked in? He said something popped up.
See? Right there.
What?
He's trying to be Brandon. He's trying to be like Brandon now. Sovereign's going to try to go. Get your mind out of the Brandon gutter, Sovereign.
All right. So this
Well, Tom, I appreciate you coming up, buddy. I appreciate you hanging out with us.
Hey, no, appreciate you having me.
Yeah, right on, man.
Tom, it's nice to meet you. I hope we get to talk more in the future.
Yes, sir. You as well. Yes, sir. You as well. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you later. Have a good night.
See you, Tom.
So this one I got.
Sovereign, you want
Go ahead.
Okay, you want to set this one up, or you want?
Sure.
Or are we going to just?
Oh, I'll set it up. What this is this is another from another channel that they'll put like 2 or 3 videos in one video. This particular one where I've got it queued up to is a guy pulling up to a checkpoint set up apparently by the state police.
Okay.
Oh, and the channel. This is the channel is Police Control is what it's called. And let's see, I'll put the link to this video. Should have done it with the last one too. And I'll put it over into private chat and paste that in there. There we go. So if you want to put that chat or whoever's a moderator or whoever's else, Blue Bear, if you guys want to put that in the chat, I don't think I can't because I'm not on that computer. And I got the program open up here.
Here, I got it.
Yeah, I can't actually from this standpoint. I don't think for whatever reason.
See, I'd have to do it up here. Let's see. Yeah. I don't have this computer linked to these yet.
There, I got it in there.
Cool. All right. So no further ado.
Evening, officer. Good evening. Before we continue, I'd just like to let you know that you are being recorded right now.
Okay, that's fine.
So I would just like to know why I'm being pulled over.
We're doing a roadside safety check.
Okay.
Okay.
Am I being detained?
What's that?
Am I being detained?
Well, right now we're just conducting our job, making sure
Okay.
that everyone's on the road driving safely.
Okay. Is that
Yes, you are not free to leave. Right?
so far? Everybody's being safe. Am I being detained then?
You're not free to leave.
Am I
Okay?
being detained? If I'm not free to leave, then you're suspecting me of committing a crime. Then am I being detained?
Making sure that everybody's driving safely.
Oh, I understand. Thank you for.
Now, I've explained
doing
myself.
so. Absolutely.
Okay. And we do have the legal right to stop you right now.
Oh, I
So
believe this is unconstitutional, but
like I said, I've asked you for your driver's license.
you actually didn't ask me for my driver's license, but I'm actually not obligated to provide that if I'm not being detained.
Whoa! You're obligated. Get out now.
Whoa!
Get out now. Driving's a privilege,
Sir.
not a right. I'm telling you to get out right now.
Excuse me, I'm not.
We asked for your license and insurance. Yes, you are resisting
I can
at this
provide.
point.
No, sir. I
And
can
give us
provide
your
it.
license and insurance,
Absolutely.
like he was asked.
Absolutely, sir. This is my license here.
Okay, now get your insurance. That's
Okay.
required by law.
All right.
Driving's a privilege, not a right.
Absolutely, sir. I completely.
We're not going to
agree.
sit here and debate with you.
Okay, well, this is very unconstitutional. What you're doing.
No, you know what?
And
This is not unconstitutional. I already explained it to you. Driving's a
Sir.
privilege and not a right.
Understood. This is my driver's
Good.
license. my
Thank
insurance
you.
card. You're welcome.
That's what you're required to do to drive in Illinois.
I would-
You know, understand that?
Absolutely.
Do you understand
I would
that?
also like to inform you that you are being recorded right now.
Good.
Okay. Can I please
You were
shut my
asked.
door?
No.
Since I'm not being detained.
No.
What am I being detained for exactly, sir? If I am
We
being
asked for your
detained.
driver's license and insurance card, which you're required to have when you drive in the state of Illinois.
Understood.
Correct?
Correct. That is correct.
That's
and
what
I
you
do.
were asked
And I
for.
do have that. Correct.
I don't know. I'm looking at it. You refused to
I
provide
did
it
not
originally,
refuse.
didn't you?
Absolutely not. I did not refuse anything.
Is this
I
your
said-
current address?
I would not like
Is
to
this
answer
your
any-
current
I'd like to
address?
remain silent, sir, unless I have an attorney present.
Is this your current address?
I would like to remain silent, sir. I would like to exercise my Fifth Amendment right.
Do you have a more current insurance card?
I would like to exercise my Fifth Amendment right. Everything there is completely valid and legal, and I'd like to exercise my Fifth Amendment right from here on out. Unless I have an attorney.
What was that?
I would like to exercise my Fifth Amendment right from here on out.
What
Unless I have an attorney.
Say?
That I have the right to remain silent.
Really?
Absolutely.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Damn.
Thank you. Am I free to leave?
Sit on. Yes,
Thank
you
you.
are.
You guys have a great night. And that, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And that's pretty much all there is to that one.
What a dick. Oh my God. Seriously.
I've seen that one before.
Man, that trooper has got, like, seriously, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
take a nap. I
Yeah.
mean, God.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
Just
I mean,
jerk the door open.
The way he went about that was like off the chain.
But, yeah, not right.
Now the information that he was giving was correct, but the way he was giving it was like a 15 on a 10 scale.
Okay, well, I want to ask you this. Okay, so if you go to pull somebody over and stop them, it has to be for some kind of a violation, and then you ask for their registration and all their paperwork, right?
Right.
So you can't just drive down the road and say, "Hey, I'm going to pull that guy over there and make sure he's safe," or "I'm going to go pull over this guy over here and make sure he's safe." That's not within the purview of your job, correct?
No, but
Okay.
we can.
So then, how is it legal to pull, or even constitutional, to pull over everybody and then demand their papers? How is that not a direct violation of Fourth Amendment?
Traffic safety checkpoints are legal.
Well, I didn't ask you about it's legal,
and they are conducted throughout the United States.
Yeah, I know.
And what they do,
unconstitutional. Who said it was legal?
Well, my state says it's legal, and the state
Right.
Supreme Court says it's legal.
Yeah, it needs to be challenged, because I'm telling you, if you can't, what I just said that you can't do, it's okay to do it to everybody, though.
Well, Sovereign, I think the
insane.
reason, and I'm going to go ahead and say this. I don't know this. Okay, so I'm going to take a shot at this, but I'm the first to telling everybody if I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. But I think the reason that they get away with that, at least in our state, is because I know that the state highway patrol has a certain, because they are in charge of the enforcement. I think they have that right to be able to do that in the state of Ohio. And I think the way that they actually specifically get away with it is because they have to advertise it. It's a public thing that they advertise it, saying, "Hey, we're going to be doing this at this location on whatever date." In Ohio, I mean, once again, I don't know that. I'm taking a shot. So
and they do that in my state as well. It has to be advertised.
From a contract standpoint, that would be.
Well, I think that it's basically at that point.
I would say nefarious, but nevertheless, it's like we've given you opportunity to not go through it. We've told you that it was going to be here, although we know everybody's not going to know. Isn't it? Don't they always, if somebody comes up along one of those and they decide, "Nah, fuck that, I'm not going through this shit," and they turn around and go the other way, don't they usually have somebody there to pull them over?
Not that I'm aware of. Not with where I work at anyway. Okay. I've only taken part in a couple of them ever. That was years ago when the patrol would come in and do, and I would be there basically just with the extra lights, because we obviously have everything lit up with red and blues.
We have to be careful, guys, because this, I know where you guys come from with this, that yes, this makes it so that it's safe and all that other shit, but let's get real about this. They also want to limit your firearms to make shit safe.
Sure.
They want to limit your speech, and in such words they tell you, to make stuff safe. So are we willing to give up our constitutional rights for safety? Do we want peaceful slavery?
Absolutely
slavery
not.
Over dangerous freedom?
Absolutely
this is
not.
pushing the line because, like I said, if you can't just randomly pull people over, you shouldn't be able to just pull everybody over. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And then require their papers and shit. Even if drunk driving is a problem, even if speeding is a problem or whatever happened, you still have to walk that line. And as far as Supreme Courts, and this is what I was getting ready to tell you, Blue Bear, the Supreme Courts have been on the wrong side of just about every issue that they've ever had brought before them. I can go back as far as Dred Scott to point my example. To take a bunch of unelected officials that were placed in a position for life and are basically unaccountable to any, we know that they were put in there through political motives, to actually decide the constitutionality of an issue over the corporate value of it is slim to none. And that's why I say Supreme Court crap. You have to break that down like that. If you can't just jam up people, say, hey, there's a guy, I want to see if he's safe and shit, just pull people over. That's definitely a Fourth Amendment violation. So how could that actually be any different from pulling everybody over?
Well, what I can say in my state is when you go get that driver's license and you sign that driver's license, you agree that to have that privilege to operate a motor vehicle in this state, that you will produce that operator's license at any time that is requested by law enforcement.
Now you see what they've done there, right?
I know where you're going to go with this, that you're signing your right of way just to drive.
Well, yes, what they've done, look at what they've done is through the ignorance of language. And most people are very, very ignorant of language. Okay. They have coerced this. They absolutely have. A license is permission to do something that is illegal. So what they did was make that act illegal and then sell a piece of paper to everyone saying that adhere to certain conditions to be able to have one. They've taken an otherwise right and turned it into a privilege. Now, the privilege aspect of it is when you come down to the commercial term of drive versus travel, and also the nomenclature of what you're in. Is it a personally owned automobile, or is it a motor vehicle? Because they all have different definitions. They all have different definitions.
Do you know what's classified as a motor vehicle by law?
What's that?
Do you know what's classified as a motor vehicle by law?
I believe that's the one that classifies a truck.
No, that is anything in my state. A motor vehicle is anything with a motor that transports people.
Transport. That's another commercial term.
Yeah, so if you are on a motorized scooter, that is considered a motor vehicle in my state by state law.
Well, that's cool. I could call a banana an orange if I wanted to. It's still not an orange. It's still a banana. Doesn't matter.
If it has wheels and a motor, it's a motor vehicle.
Well, I don't agree, and I've seen that where it's been over. That's been not.
I'm only speaking for my state.
Yeah. Well, I understand it. Where's that at? North Carolina, did you say?
No, I'm not in North Carolina. I don't publicly say where I'm at.
That's fine. I was just curious about it. Because here's the way that has to go: is in order for it to be, that's why there's a hierarchy of the courts. That's why there's a hierarchy of the courts. The way it is supposed to work is that the laws that are there, they still have to jive with the overall Constitution in order to maintain statehood within the Union. This is why each state has its own constitution. And then, of course, the 10th Amendment is left to reserve those things which are not covered in the Constitution. So consequently, we come up with these differences in ideas and terminology that then have to be challenged and brought up before this hierarchy in order to get it straightened out. This has been done several times, and it is within the nomenclature, you see. There again, the act itself, whether or not it's a commercial act or whether it's a private act. Those do matter. A lot of people don't know it, they're ignorant of it. And the thing that gets me about it is people get angry when you try to show them this shit because they're so in love with either the fact that they feel they have to do this shit and pay this money, or it's usually stems from, oh, well, if I have to do it, you should have to do it too, type of thing, which is ridiculous. The idea should be like, wow, that guy doesn't have to pay that money. I wish I didn't either. I wonder if I can find out how. Wonder how I could find out about that. No, it stems from an idea of almost jealousy. I worked in a factory one time where there was two different, my department and another department. My foreman wasn't upset when it came to, if we were like a minute late coming back from break or something like that. He wasn't a real ass driver. Whereas this other department, this guy was. Their foreman was. And so what was it? Not these people didn't look at us like, man, those guys got it made. That's pretty cool. Their boss isn't an asshole like ours. No, they wanted us to have to adhere to the same regulations and stiffness that they did, which I don't know where the childish ideal come from to think that way. But I'm telling you, if you look into these things and find out these various terminologies and differences, you will find out that indeed these people are correct. It's just about having to, you have to make notice of your status, unfortunately. And there's a process involved with that, but that's for another thing. They have careened it around in the wording, because we look at things through our common language. They don't. Words mean different things. If I said that I came in someplace under special appearance, you would think I was a guest star, right? It's not what it means in court. Special appearance means you're there on an errand for the docket case, but you're not appearing in the court. It's an actual reserved term. There's a whole bunch of them like that people, if you were to hear somebody just say it, well, then you would think, well, that's kind of silly. But when you look at it through the legalese, it's a completely different story. And they do get the end run around, because make no mistake, when these laws, or legislation rather, is written out, it is meticulous and they use the right terminology, because if you don't fall back on it, they certainly will.
Well, and I think that's where we kind of run into. Um, I think interpretation is going to be, and I guess I just, I think the thing is, and I think it's, obviously the right to travel. We know there's a right to travel. I think what they're simply saying is, when states actually define, say, okay, you have the right to travel, but you're going to be licensed to do
Okay,
this.
well, that's what I want to ask. Why would there need to be a license involved? Why? What is that little piece of paper, laminated card? What does that do? Does that somehow give you magical abilities to be able to work the controls and shit, or what? How does that work? If I have one and I go out to eat, and then I drop it somewhere before I leave the restaurant and I can't find it, am I unable to go home? I forgot now how to work my automobile.
Right. I don't think that's as much of it is it's literally in the idea. And once again, um, you have to remember that this is still a form of checks and balances. I'm not saying wrong. I'm just saying that's the way that it's been legalized, to say that it's a checks and balance, saying, okay, this person has participated in X, Y, and Z in order to be able to say they can, at least rationally, they can operate a motor vehicle. Which, I mean, obviously, we've seen people every day that can't drive a lick. That's not the point. But I think that's why that it's looked at that way. And I will say, and I just looked this up too because I was curious. I couldn't remember the wording. Um, let me just pull this up real fast on my phone here because I'm going to try to read this. In Ohio, a motor vehicle means, and including mobile homes and recreational vehicles that is propelled or drawn by power other than muscular power or power collected from an overhead electric trolley wires. Motor vehicle does not include utility vehicles as defined in section blah 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 blah. This section under speed vehicles defined in that division. That's all obviously still going in the same way of talking about those vehicles. But basically, what they're saying is anything that's powered short of like self-powered, like obviously pedestrian devices. You know, you can't say a wheelchair is still a pedestrian device. It's not a passenger vehicle. So that's not a thing. So it's anything that's drawn under power, motorized power that's not your own. I think that's the way that Ohio is basically defining it.
There
And once again, that's
right. What I'm saying is that there's other terminology within that statute that we're looking at too. Operate is one. You if you look through, like, I think, where was it? I think it's a Virginia. I think it's a Virginia that even my Jeep doesn't even amount to the weight classification of a motor vehicle. It's classified. Of course, we're a Commonwealth here too. It's different. We go by common. We lean more toward common law than the other states. The other states are more into their UCC codes.
Sure.
But yeah, it's you got to look at the term of operate as as opposed to the legal term of we often use the term drive, and drive is actually a commercial term.
Right. In
The
Ohio,
word control. You have control, you have operate, and you have drive. These are all three, and they have different meanings. Absolutely, different meanings.
In Ohio,
Anyway.
Drive is not implied. It's operate, and operate does imply being in control in the state of Ohio. That's the way it's worded. You actually get an operator's license, and in order to operate a motor vehicle, you are in control of the motor vehicle by definition. Now, once again, I don't even think drive is actually worded in that I'm familiar with.
Not.
Well, and also part of that too is whether or not you are adhering to a 14th Amendment citizen status. That's another part of it too. That's a whole nother.
And once again, I'm not familiar with all that. I'm not saying you're right or you're wrong. That's something new to me. I'm just simply saying that out of what I'm familiar with as us being U.S. citizens that are born here or come in here legally or whatever, and we now have citizenship, you know, as far as we're concerned, that's what I adhere to. If there's something else out there, then I don't know. You know, and I'm all about being enlightened or educated. If it's something, I'd have to see something that would show, you know, some kind of something from, you know, a Supreme Court or some kind of case law or something to that for me to be able to understand it.
You see,
And that's just
identify. I'm a Virginian, right? I'm a living flesh and blood man who lives, not resides. Resides, there again, is another commercial term. I live in a land called Virginia. Do I adhere to the corporation called Virginia? No, not part of that. Not part of that. I'm under the original 10 amendments. I'm not under the veneer of the UCC code. Now, how do you get under that veneer of that UCC code? How do they make you have to require to have a license and registration and all of that? Well, it's by convincing you that you're on a ship, the citizenship. And that means that if you are a U.S. citizen, the U.S. being a corporation, you're declaring that you are a resident, which means that you belong somewhere else, but you're living right here. And primarily identifying as a federal citizen, which is really only the Washington, D.C. and the territories, because that's a corporation. Whereas you're not really. But if you go ahead and say you are, then they're like, hey, all great. The more the merrier. The more the merrier.
Well, let me ask you this, and once again, I'm not disagreeing or agreeing. I'm just curious from your standpoint. If the states get their power from the states don't get their power from the 10th Amendment. I say that all wrong all the time. The states reserve their power in the 10th Amendment because everything originally was the states or what we know of as the states now, and the people. if we reserve those powers according to the 10th Amendment, would that not give the states the legal right to be able to create laws that don't infringe on constitutional rights in the first 9, let's just say?
Well, if they did that, that would automatically bar them from being members of the Union state of the
Sure.
overall United States, because there again, it has to jive with the overall national constitution. They could very well do that, but they would have to secede. That would mean their secession. Like Texas has been wanting to secede.
I think Texas, I may be wrong, but doesn't Texas actually have that in their original documented originally when they actually become part of the union, that they reserve the right to be able to succeed from the union anytime?
Well, that's just a reiteration of what's already in the 10th Amendment.
Right, but I'm just saying,
there, yeah. Oh yeah,
think,
they double dipped it. You know, it's not only in the U.S. Constitution; we have it in our state constitution as well.
Well, let me ask you this, and I'm just curious from your standpoint. I'm going to ask Blue this too, and I'm probably going to make some people mad, but I don't really care. What is your thoughts? And I'll start with you, Blue. What is your thoughts on federal law enforcement?
On what?
On federal law enforcement.
Wow.
And I'm going to start with Blue, and then we'll come to you, Sovereign. So chew on your thought for a minute until we get there. So, Blue, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, as far as federal law enforcement, they enforce the federal laws, where state law enforcement enforces the laws of the state.
Sure.
Absolutely. So there's two separate entities there.
Right.
You know, an agent of a federal law enforcement agency does not have the jurisdiction to enforce state law.
Sure, absolutely.
No.
They can only enforce federal law.
Well, my question to you is this. Do you believe that obviously, since we got, and let's not get into splitting hairs here, but I think we all agree that obviously what we call laws, whether we agree with them or not, but what we call laws comes under the 10th Amendment. And it's basically says that, what was not given to the federal government by Congress, right, would be reserved by the states. Well, law enforcement is not mentioned in the Constitution under those terms. So, do you think that the federal government having the power to enforce laws, even if you want to call them federal, is constitutionally right, legal, so to speak? And the reason I'm asking that is, I've actually went on, and I've done a little bit of research here and there, and about how the differences are between state and federal agencies and such. And I found something that was quite alarming, and I didn't know this, but I found where there is actually, I believe, a statute in a federal law under the supremacy clause, they call it, that prevents state district attorneys, state prosecutors, your elected officials that you elect, cannot prosecute a federal agent if they're in the commission of their duties if they break a state law. Did you know that, Blue?
I did not know that.
That is true. Yeah, let's just say hypothetically, if you have a U.S. Marshal or a FBI agent and he's acting in his official capacity and he does something to break a state law, let's say assault or something along those lines. Let's just say, I'm just throwing out hypotheticals, so don't crucify me, chat. Did you know that your local prosecutor has no jurisdiction over him?
I did not.
And you can look that up. I've done a little research on that myself. Basically, they have to be prosecuted at a federal because they are acting on behalf of the union and not just in behalf of the state. I was really shocked by that, and I hope that there's something I'm missing. I'm hoping that somebody can clarify something that I'm missing. That is frightening.
Yeah,
to think that
and
go ahead.
To kind of piggyback off that, and I may be wrong here because I'll have to double check myself and look it up, but I believe that my state, as far as like 2A stuff, has made a state law stating that no federal agent can come in and enforce federal gun laws at the state level. I remember hearing something about that. I haven't really looked into it, so I may be totally wrong here.
Here in Virginia, Blue Bear, just about every county sheriff, with the exception of a couple up in the north, our counties got together and decided whether or not we were going to become 2A sanctuaries. And our sheriffs, each of our sheriffs, signed a pledge to that
That's
they
awesome.
were not going to enforce any of the 2A bullshit that they were trying to bring out of Washington.
Yeah, and
I think that's awesome.
I think they did that here and made the entire state that way, because I remember hearing talk about it, about if a federal agent tried to come into this state and enforce a federal law, say they ban, 10 round magazines or anything more than 10 rounds.
Sure.
That federal agent could be arrested.
Right.
Now,
Well,
with hearing what you just said, Chad, that becomes a little more interesting.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I can appreciate our dual system of government. Okay. But I think that's wherein lies the problem and now, once again, we have to realize, and I'm just speaking for Ohio because this is where I live, but and then where I work, I should say. But also, you have to realize that in Ohio, the elected sheriff is the chief law enforcement officer of the county. He is handpicked by the citizens of his county to represent and defend their constitutional rights and enforce the laws. He is, by definition, the chief conservator of the peace, with duties to enforce laws, bring rioters, trespassers, yada 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 yada, and to see the judge basically at the court, right? And the sheriff, being elected by the people, has a help that the federal agents shouldn't have. So I don't know how it would be that if a federal agent came into this state and acted silly and done something silly and broke a law, that our county prosecutor, is also elected by the people, would not have the power to be able to prosecute him. That's troubling to me. Sovereign, were you familiar? I mean, have you ever heard anything like that?
That's the whole thing when you start dealing with federal versus county and state. It was never supposed to be that. Federal shouldn't exist. Okay?
Right.
It wasn't that until Lincoln. Lincoln started the whole ball rolling, fucking this place up. That's one of the reasons that the southern states exercised their 10th Amendment right and left. They said, no, this guy is a tyrant. He's giving the central government powers that they're not constitutionally allowed to have. And they said, we quit. We're not in this no more. It'd be no different than the three of us join up in the Moose Lodge. And then they start dicking around with how we can be at home or what we have to wear when we come there or some other shit. And we're like, wait a second, you guys are getting a little bit intrusive into my personal life. That's not what I signed up for. I'm out. Right. And that right is reserved to the states, even to this day. And Lincoln completely federalized everything and gave Washington, D.C. that far overreaching powers. It started out with what they have first, the Pinkertons. They had the Pinkertons use the excuse of the railroads and shit to be able to do that. There again, corporations and government back together. But as far as the reality of there again, federal and U.S. citizen, the actual jurisdiction, law, diction, talk, legal talk, is on federal property. So here in Virginia, actually, in all reality, a federal agent has no jurisdiction whatsoever unless it involves a federal entity or federal property.
Right.
Now, that being said, I can go just a few miles here up on the Skyline Drive on the top of the Blue Ridge Mountains. I am now in federal jurisdiction. If I get a traffic ticket, that has to be adjudicated in federal court. Because the federal government claims that land as its own. And there again, it's now just a big piece of Washington, D.C.
Right. Well, the problem that I had with that was understanding, how that worked, because, to me, that was really a shocker when I read that, to think that your elected DA, that your elected prosecutor that you chose, that your people chose here in this county, can't have the choice to prosecute somebody in his geographical jurisdiction for breaking a law that he has authority to prosecute over just simply because they work for the federal government? Is that not troubling? I mean,
It's
that's
very
just
troubling. It's very
that
troubling.
that's crazy to me. And I looked it up and I done a little research, and I looked up different, and there's a lot of opinions from these different all and stuff, and attorneys and stuff. And basically what they're likening it to is the supremacy clause that's saying, that the federal government is the supreme law of the land, and yada 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 yada, and all that good stuff, saying that basically the agents don't have to be responsible for being for understanding and knowing all state law. Well, that's a bunch of nonsense, because I can be held responsible for no, I don't live in Virginia, but I know if I go to Virginia and I punch sovereign's neighbor in the nose, I'm probably going to go to jail in Virginia. I mean, that's crazy to me. So that just, I don't know. I'm just kind of curious about that. And I also know, and I will say, we're pretty blessed in our county. Our sheriff is very strong in understanding his responsibility, and I have witnessed him basically send some federal agents packing, basically saying, you've caused such a ruckus in here. If you can't come in here and act like you got some sense, you're going around, doing stuff, serving warrants and tearing people's shit up, and that's not right. Get the hell out, and if you're going to come in this county, you were to call me in advance and make arrangements. So yeah,
Well,
I just,
you gotta understand too. When we get into federal, and especially with the FBI, there's a lot of bluster involved with that. There really is. That's why you hear old Chili all the time. Federal lawsuit, federal, like as if that means something. It really doesn't.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Like and the thing is, federal agents. Well, they've proven themselves time and time again, even up to its inception. I believe that J. Edgar Hoover was actually responsible for the bombing of that judge, and then solved the crime, and then the FBI was born. I truly believe that. They've been behind a bunch of crimes. The plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer of Michigan. I think there were 7 or 8 guys involved, and like 5 or 6 of them were actually federal agents. So they coerced these idiots into going along with them and then busted them. And it's like made a big propaganda thing. But there really was a big thing about that. And Hoover was really concerned about the image, especially when during his tenure, he was very, very concerned with the image. Agents had to have a certain haircut. They had to wear a certain type of suit. When they came in, he was very conscious of his height. He had a little box behind his desk that he could step up on. And when
really, I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
Well, when new agents were brought in to meet the director, see, he had a great PR. The newsreels, and then there was the TV show, the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI. You always hear about this shit. And he was inserting himself into these cases all over the place and getting headlines. But he would stand on this box, and new agents were told not to look at his feet.
Wow.
Like a direct order. Yeah. Do not look at his feet. So he would appear taller because he was a short little shit. But yeah, I think a lot of the bluster with the FBI, and as now we see, servers and whole computers and shit are being, found FBI with CP and all kinds of other reprehensible shit. They hid the Hunter laptop story for the longest damn time till they couldn't anymore.
Didn't and wasn't it the Benghazi issue that started all that stuff to realize how crazy we go down that rabbit hole?
Yeah. And what the hell is the FBI doing? I mean, because it's in an embassy and it's a small piece of the United States, they have the FBI in there. I would figure.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you. I'm with you.
It seems like, hey, go in there and make this look like this. That's what they usually do.
Yeah. Well, let me address this real fast. I just think about the mayor getting charged.
Oh
yeah. To be honest, I've had people ask me, I've had people ask me all the time, why did it take the highway patrol to catch him? It didn't take the highway patrol to catch him. It just so happened that the highway patrol caught him. I mean, I can't help who was behind him and got the probable cause for
Oh,
whatever
now
reason.
come on, Chad. You guys sit there and go, oh, there's the mayor swerving down the road drunk again. Better let him go.
What was it? What was it that you said? Shit. What was it? I can't remember. Was it you guys said that we were slapping fives or I can't remember what it was. And I want to talk real fast. J Car, I'm not following anybody as if it's truth. I just want you to understand that I'm an open platform. I love Sovereign to death as a human being, and he knows that. I think he's got a heart of gold, and I think he's a great person. But he will be the first to tell you that I don't agree with everything he says, but that doesn't mean I don't like him. And I'm sure there's stuff that he doesn't agree with me, and I'm sure Blue Bear feels the same way about me, and vice versa. And maybe you guys or whoever. It doesn't. I want you guys to know that I don't have to agree or disagree with what you have to say to make you still important in my life, and I want to still talk to you and hang out with you and all that. And that comes to all you guys. I mean, I want you guys to understand that I don't have to agree with you. I just so
J Carr, I want to address it as well too. I mean, if you've watched me any length of time, I tell you it's just like a buffet. I don't care if you accept it or don't accept it. It's just like at a buffet. You can go through and you can look at all the food. You don't have to take everything. You can take everything, but you don't have to eat it all. Okay. That being said, this is how a conversation takes place. And in lieu of what I've seen going on in other places on the internet, the panel we have up here now would probably be fighting with one another because they're not able to converse because they don't go by those standards that I just listed. And what do we get? Tribalism. Now look at the tribalism we've got now. Now we've got a blue bacon Murby's tribalism. So there's 3 tribes with the Cape tribe and this tribe. And I'm like, I don't even give a flying rat's ass, man.
Yeah,
Stay out of Discord. Jesus.
I'm not in any tribe. I want to hang out with all you guys. I want to hang out with my chat and the way that people, they treat me and the way that I try to treat everybody else is the way I want to do it.
Hold on. J Carr said, I've watched you fine to have your beliefs, but you spread lies. Well, if you feel it's a lie, show that it's a lie. If I stand corrected, I will freely admit I stand corrected. But to just declare that's like these people during the Holocaust, trust the science. Well, what science? I don't know, but I heard people say that. So that word science means something. No, it doesn't. Come on, y'all. You can't just go, oh, that's a lie. Because let me tell you what happened to Nick the other night. Are you familiar with Nick Bolt?
I know Nick.
Okay.
I know Nick.
Yeah. All right, so
Blue knows Nick.
I know he does. And he comes in. I didn't say Holocaust. I said Holocaust. Holocaust. Wake up. Don't get butthurt over words, Jay. Okay. So he come on my panel and we were talking about the toxicity of fluoride that they put in the water and that it calcifies the pineal gland. And he said, the what? And I said, the pineal gland. It's right in the center of your brain. And he says, is that what's responsible for you going through puberty? I said, no, that's the pituitary gland. This is part of the endocrine system, but it's called the pineal gland. It's also been often called the third eye. And the interesting thing about it is that it has rods and cones, just like your 2 eyes do, light receptors. Imagine that. You have an eye with light receptors in the middle of your brain. And he said, no, you don't. That's not true. That's bullshit. I said, go out on your computer right now and look. He went and he goes, oh, yeah. So then he's wanting to argue with me the effects of fluoride on the pineal gland. I was like, dude, you didn't even know what the hell it was up till 2 minutes ago. Instead of trying to refute what I'm telling you, just listen. You don't have to eat it. Just listen. You can't be receptive if your mind is scrambling for reasons what I'm saying is not true. Just take it in. then digest it. Is that easy?
Well, and I want to say too,
There's my man, Welsh News. I like that guy.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I also want you guys to know, with Archangel in the chat, once again, I want you guys to realize you don't have to agree with Art. But he is a good-hearted dude. I really believe that. So just keep that in mind. We don't have to agree with him. I don't agree with a lot of stuff he says, but it doesn't change the fact that I think he's a nice fella, and there's no reason why we can't be cordial with him. And I wanted you to come up Friday, and I don't know how we missed parts or whatever, but if you'll bear with me, I promise you, this Friday I will do a Freedom Friday, and I want you to come up and be a guest on my panel, please. I would like to hear your views on freedom as well, because that's the beauty of freedom is let's just see how far we can expand it, because I love that shit, right? Anyway, we were kind of going on a different avenue there, but that's kind of where everything went. But I also was talking about the somebody mentioned about us driving by in the video or something. I mean, yes, we drive by all the time on different traffic stops. It doesn't mean that we have anything to do with it or don't have anything to do with it. The only reason that we would stop is if we had a reason to help. But if he's on a traffic stop in the city, that's none of our business. That's just one of those things. He's on a traffic stop. So, yeah, just throwing that out there. So,
I just want to say hello to Welsh News Network. Good to see you, my
yeah,
friend.
Welsh is a good dude. I'm assuming, dude. I apologize, Welsh, if you're not a dude.
He's a guy.
Okay.
I gotta say, you guys must have it must be big talk having the mayor get arrested like that around there.
You know what? Nobody's really talked to me about it. Of course, I guess people just know how I feel about things. Like, I think if you do something stupid, you got to come and whatever it be. And I don't really, nobody's really ever said anything to me. But then again, I think everybody's like, it is what it is.
Well, I know that years ago we had this very famous news anchor in the Metro Detroit area named Bill Bonds. In fact, they used him as the newscaster in the Planet of the Apes movie where they were back here. They brought the apes here, Anyway, he got arrested for a DUI and somebody caught it on camera. And of course, the other two affiliates went ahead and showed that footage. That was some of the biggest talk in anywhere around there for the longest time. Well, to make it even worse, I had got picked up for a DUI the same day, and I was in the same dunk tank as he was.
No kidding.
I was in the same holding cell. He was an asshole. He was wanting to fight everybody. It was funny.
Oh, he was that fighting drunk. He gets mad. He's ready to whoop somebody's ass. Oh man,
that usually doesn't work out too well for him.
It don't, does it?
This was a while ago, so they still had the bars. There wasn't the steel doors and all that. And this guy, he's rattling the fucking door and he's like screaming, "Let me out of here! Let me out of here!" And I looked at him and I said, "You stupid son of a bitch! If that worked, do you think any of us would be in here?"
No shit.
Think about
if we had the choice, they'd all leave.
I mean, what would that do to your mind? Let me out of here. Oh, okay. He lets you go. Like, fuck, it worked. All right. I did use a get out of jail free card from a Monopoly game once and did go home. Absolutely. God said that was the funniest shit he'd seen.
No kidding. That's the thing too, is like, I've had people ask me before, well, how should I behave on a traffic stop? Well, let me just tell you what I think. This is how I would behave, and it's just my opinion. I would be polite. I would go ahead and say, "Hey, how are you, sir? How's your day? Whatever." As he asks, "I need to see your license, registration, proof, insurance." Hand it to him. Let him tell you what he's got going on. Say absolutely, or whatever it may be, because ultimately, on the side of the road is not a place to debate anyway. He's obviously not the judge, and getting in that back and forth stuff probably is not going to help you. So be polite, be respectful. If you do get a ticket and you feel like you were wrong, if you feel like he was wrong, then go fight it and do it that way. And the chances are, if you have a little bit of value, and you start a conversation, you may not even get a ticket, because I found a lot of times just guys going, "Dang it, man, yeah, you got me, I was speeding, whatever," and I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Be careful,
Well, Chad, here's a good story for you. I stopped a guy one night because he decided to act a little crazy while driving. And I walk up to the window and I introduced myself to him. And I said, "You know the reason why I stopped you tonight?" He looked me dead in the eyes and goes, "Because I was acting stupid."
That works.
And I was like, okay, he's not getting a ticket. But when I ran his information, he ended up having a warrant. So I ended up having to take him to jail.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, dude, there's nothing I can do. I said, if it was up to me, you'd be on your way home already. I said, but you've got something you need to take care of with the court. And unfortunately, I have to be the person to take you to take care of that. I said, it's not personal. I said, it's just some paperwork that you've got with the court that you've got to take care of. So we need to go get that handled.
Real fast, I wanted to say, Corey, I'd seen you earlier mention, I believe you said that you served. And I want you to know, I truly, 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 from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your service. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you for serving. I seen that earlier and I highlighted it and I meant to say something and I got distracted because I'm the first to tell you, my wife will tell you, that my attention span and me remembering stuff, Lord have mercy. I can't remember. I'll stand up. You guys ever do this? Go ahead.
Speaking of your attention span, I sent you a message like a week ago and you still haven't responded to it.
When? I didn't get it. I just opened your messages earlier.
Yeah, I know. But I sent you one the other day when you were talking about your eye.
Oh, well, I may have just overlooked it.
How's that doing, by the way?
It's completely cleared up.
Oh, cool.
I went to the doc. Did I tell you guys I went to the doc?
Yeah.
I went to the doc and
he's trying to look at my.
Oh, I get it. I get it now. Because I did not see that. I don't know how I missed that, Blue. You said when you asked me if I made my wife mad and she popped me.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed that one, but I sure did.
Yeah, I was like, he didn't respond to that, so maybe she actually did.
So I could have fooled you, man. I'd have been like, it's not funny. I'm a victim.
I was, because I sent you that message after I saw your stream because I didn't see it live. I just caught bits and pieces of it, and I think it might have been a community post that you put out or something. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to mess with him because I was like,
I'm sorry, guys. I see somebody else literally says they sent me one. My gosh, J-Car, I'm sorry. You guys should know better. I'm a freaking child, okay? I don't know why you guys would have any confidence in me whatsoever.
Sovereign, I was like, did you piss your wife off and she busted you in the eyes? Is that why your eyes hurt?
Yeah, no shit.
And he didn't respond, and I still hadn't heard anything from him. And we've messaged 4 or 5 times back and forth. And I'm like, well, maybe she did pop him in the eye. Maybe he got.
Oh my gosh! I'm gonna tell her that. I'll be like, Blueberry said that he's investigating domestic violence complaints. Said that you done whooped my ass there last week. But no, I went to the doc and I said, I went in there and of course he comes in and he says, he checks my eye and he goes, well, there's good news. So what's that? He says, you don't have. He said the only thing that happened was just the impact itself. Where the stick come back and hit me in the eye. It basically like punched me in the eye.
So what actually did happen?
I was walking through the woods. No, J-Car, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you think that. I'm sorry. Yeah, I promise. I literally just, sometimes I get frustrated. I get overwhelmed because I have a lot of things going. I get distracted and I lose sight. I apologize.
Squirrel.
Yeah, exactly. So I was walking through the woods. And I was squirrel hunting, and I had my shotgun kind of out in front of me, and kind of walking through some brush. And one of the limbs is a little shorter than I anticipated, and it kind of fell off my shotgun, and it whacked me right in the eye. And I mean, man, it knocked me for a loop. I mean, it hurt like hell. So I go back and I went to the doc, and the doc looks, and he says it's not scratched. It's just the impact. And he said it should go by in a few days. But I found out something really cool. He actually, he actually, when he looked in my eyes, he says, "I want you to check something for me." I said, "Okay." He says, "You got 2015 vision." He's like, "You're 43," and I was like, "Yeah." He says, "Wow, that's really good. You have really, really good vision." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Most people that have good vision don't even realize that they have good vision because they've never had bad vision to know what bad vision feels like." He's like, "You actually have really, really good vision." I was like, "Wow, that's really nice to know." So I have good vision. I didn't know, but I I do have good vision according to him. So, but listen, guys, here's what I want to do. I told myself and my wife tonight I was only going to go 2.5 hours. So I'm going to wrap this up so that I can. I'm going to probably put me a movie on and kick back a little bit. We did go hunting. We did. I took the boys hunting today and went deer hunting a little bit. And didn't we seen 4 deer, but they were too far away to get a shot, and Braylon was unable to get the angle on anything, so it was no big deal. And we kind of jumped them as we were going to the stand. So, but it was a good time. And that's kind of why I was so late getting my link posted and everything for you guys, was because, to be honest, I was completely distracted again. I know J Car's probably laughing right now because I was distracted again. But that's okay. So, but I want to go ahead and, as I always do, I want to give my panel members the opportunity to have a last word, to be able to communicate with you guys. So we'll just start with you, Blue. What you got anything to say to everybody in closing?
Well, one thing that I would say, and Archangel, that is kind of funny. Rambo Squirrel First Blood set up that branch.
Exactly. You're probably right, Ark.
I've been watching the chat in and out. So one thing that I can say, or that I would like to say, is regardless of what your beliefs are or what you think, Sovereign and I don't agree on a whole lot, but there's some things that we do agree on. But I do take the opportunity to have an open mind and listen to what the man has to say. If I question it, I go research it. If I want to debate him on a subject, I'm going to look into that subject and have my information and my receipts to back up what I'm saying in that debate. So even though that Sovereign and I don't agree on a lot of things, I still listen to what he has to say with an open mind. I may learn something. And what I would ask everybody to do is just take everything that you see on the internet with an open mind. Whether you believe it, want to believe it, or don't want to believe it, that is your choice. But bickering back and forth, I mean, Sovereign and I have talked, I don't know how many times. And we sometimes agree to disagree. And that happens more. That happens more times than not.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, look at I'm flat earth, right? Nick Volt, he's a academic in physics. Okay. Right? The things he thinks, but the thing is that we can still discuss it. And what's important about it is because you guys are hearing both sides of it, and you are the court of public opinion. But public opinion doesn't matter because truth is still truth, even in a minority of one. Okay. So you got to keep that in mind. Don't worry about what everyone else thinks. Go by what you think. Don't go by what people tell you. Mull it over. Use your mind. It's there to work, not just absorb what you hear and glom onto it. You take the information and you process it. That's how it works.
Well, and it's just like I'll use this for example. It's just like the night that Nick Volt and I got into a disagreement on your channel. Or actually it was on a different channel and it came to your channel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's not church that up, Blue. That was not a disagreement. That was chaos.
Well, yeah, okay, that was chaos. But it ended up ending in a very good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once we got the, oh, I'm testosterone man, I'm bigger testosterone man out of the way, and we found some common ground to work from, it turned out that once some information was given and some information was received, that we had a totally different perception of each other. So sometimes it just takes a conversation, and a conversation with an open mind. So I'm going to leave you with that. Have an open mind and listen to all sides of the story, and then do your research.
Amen to that. Sovereign, you got any last words for everybody as we close things out tonight, sir?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with what Blue just said there about that, because that was really kind of neat. And I'm the same. I found Nick. I like Nick, but what happens, and a lot of people tend to do this, and it's like I said before, as soon as you let emotion get involved with your logical thinking, you start running into a problem. And where does that usually stem from? It does stem from ego. You have to be able to, in order to engage in something like that, you have to detach yourself from ego and realize that everybody has a valid point. You know, I may change somebody's mind, they may change my mind, maybe they won't at all, but that's okay. The moment you get angry, you've lost. The moment you go to the ad hominem, you've lost poorly. So only thing I say from that is, you know, the Lord loves it working, man. Don't trust Whitey, and see a doctor and get rid of it.
That's right. Finger guns.
Well, and Chad, somebody, I think it was Logan, said I had a new gun. I think he's been following me, because I actually went and looked at one yesterday. But I think he's actually talking about my avatar.
That's a safe assumption with me at any given time. You could ask my wife. You could probably at any given time be like, "Oh, Chad got a new gun." He'd be like, yeah, you're right. I probably did."
Well, I'm adding to my collection of my wedding guns. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Rapid Scorpius collection. It's the flat black with the polished flats.
Oh yeah. Yep, sure.
I saw those on a Guns and Ammo magazine. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the 9 and the 45, and I just bought the 10mm.
Oh, sweet.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Well, guys, let me just say this, and we'll wrap it up for tonight. I want you guys to realize that we love you all. You know, you don't have to agree with me. You can hate me. You can call me pig tyrant. You can say whatever. But I promise you, I will still do everything in my power, in my professional capacity, to defend your rights and freedoms. I promise. You may not agree with what I have to say, but I promise you, I will do everything in my power to educate myself to make the best decisions that I have based on the circumstances. I'm not always right. I'm not God. Like I've said many times, there was only one perfect man ever. We didn't know what to do with him, so we crucified him. But I will say this: I absolutely guarantee you that if you somebody, whether you agree with them or not, maybe just maybe you can convince them of something different, and maybe just maybe you'll be enlightened about something different. Who knows? We don't know ultimately. But I can promise you, I enjoy these guys' company. I enjoy your all's company. I want to give a big shout out to Baby Doll Ironton, by the way. I missed her in the chat, but she was kind enough out of nowhere to send me a Cash App to buy me a new microphone, and I am blown away and humbled. As well as I see some other names. Dark Watch is one of them. Has been very, very kind to me and supporting this channel. God bless you guys. Thank you guys so much. I've told myself that I'm not going to do anything out of my own funds for this channel, as far as taking away from my job to grow this channel or to be able to get new equipment or so on. So I'm going to count on the money that I generate from YouTube in order to grow equipment. Not all of us have that sovereign money where you can just call up the Geek Squad and be like, "Hey, just deliver it and make it look good."
Wait a second. My wife already had a thing with them that they they'll give you free consultation and tech support. All right, so she already had that with her Best Buy thing that she's got, and the rest of that I was like, I don't know. Christmas is coming. Let's dip in a little bit and see what we can do. So now I have to live like a poor man for a little while until I can build it back up.
I understand.
So
I
I'm probably
understand.
eating a lot
Trust
of
me.
peanut butter sandwiches for the next couple of weeks.
Well, Chad, before
I
you get
bet.
a new microphone, get with me so we can get you a good one.
Well, I actually did get a good one because of Baby Doll Ironton. I was able to order the one that Derek recommended. I got one of the oh shoot, he sent me the link to it. It's the one that's the shoot, and that's going to drive me crazy now. It's the same one he uses. It's a good one. It's got really good good reviews and everything on it. And
Mhm.
I just used the money that she was kind enough to send me, and I went ahead and ordered it, and it will be here Wednesday. So I am blessed to say that God bless you and thank you very much for that support and to everybody who supported the channel. I'm not just asking, for money. I don't want to sound like that. I want you guys to just
Yeah, man.
be here with us and hang out, man. That means more to me than anything. And make sure you hit that like button. Huh.
Hey,
Make sure
real quick, Chad, can you make my screen big for just
I
1 minute?
I believe I
I'm gonna
can.
show-
Let me try.
I want to show something to Jay Carr, who had a question about whether or not I know about etymology and words. I'm about to show you what I know about etymology and fucking words.
And thank you,
I
Miss
want
Baby
you to
Doll.
notice this right
We
here.
love
I
you
have the
guys.
Black's Law Dictionary. This is one that I have. I have the fourth edition as well. Okay. I have this also that shows a bunch of different meanings of words and shit. Don't let the title fool you. I also have this Webster's. You see that right there? This is one of 6 Webster's dictionaries that I have. Okay, so don't start questioning on, oh, he needs to get a dictionary and learn the meanings of words. I study words. Okay, words have fascinated me my entire life. I've always wondered who decided to call something this and who decided to call it that. That's how I started on that. So before you go, yeah, he has a book, real good. Yeah. So anyway, that's all I just wanted to show in answer to her comment.
Well, absolutely, guys. And continue what I was saying. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. And yes, Archangel, please keep yourself available next Friday. And I'll be happy to have you on the panel. We just talk about freedom on Fridays, and we all just kind of, and that's the cool thing about Fridays is I at first I kind of felt guilty if we didn't go like the patriotic route, and then I realized that's what Freedom Friday is all about. It's about whatever the hell we want to. So on Fridays we have fun, we hang out, we do some cool stuff, and I would love to have you on. But for all you guys in the chat, God bless you guys. Once again, thank you guys so much for all the support, whether it be in the chat, whether it be the clicks and likes and everything that we get. It's really growing this channel. I'm blown away that I have 2,000 subscribers. Blows my mind that you guys honestly want to listen to my dumb ass. I don't know why.
You blew by me like I was backing up.
Well, I guess they just feel sorry for me. I don't know. But nevertheless, you guys are awesome. Thank you all so much for all the support. And let's keep this going. Let's keep this growing. And the reality is we can bridge a divide, guys. We really can. We can make it to where it's okay to listen to somebody that we don't agree with and still love on them, because I think that's what Jesus would have done. I want to try to be like if I can. And I think that by all means we can make this happen, and we can probably fix a few potholes in the road along the way. But as always, I want you guys to stay focused, to stay driven, to stay blessed. I promise you guys, you'll never be sorry for being kind to somebody. You'll never be sorry for being somebody's corner man and having the opportunity to do something good for everybody. Because I can tell you, it doesn't hurt a thing. It doesn't take but just a second to have a kind gesture, to pat somebody on the back, to shake their hand, to say God bless you, to hold a door for somebody, whatever it may be. You can do it. We can all do it. Because at any given time, remember, this is holiday season. There's a lot of people that fight a lot of emotional and mental battles that we don't see on the outside. This is a really fun time for a lot of us, and it's a really heartbreaking time for a lot of people too. And we have to look for somebody.
Well, I'm going to go with the second one right now, brother, because this is the first holidays without my dad, so it's not been real pleasant.
Buddy. I understand, and trust me, brother. If you need anything, you don't hesitate to ask, and we'll be praying for you guys. Okay, but God bless you guys. Thank you all. Stay focused, stay driven, be somebody's corner man. As always, I promise, if you train like you fight, when it comes time, only one thing's going to happen. You are going to fight like you train. God bless you guys. Good night.